Hey, good evening, everybody. Hello, comic art fans, young and old. I'm in the house a little bit. It's been a really crazy day today. I've literally not stopped working since about 7 a.m. and it's kind of been that way this entire week. And it showed last night too on the Dueling Dealers of Comic Art episode too. That first 45 minutes I was dragging, and I think it showed we were not performing up to snuff. And Gwen and Maureen suggested I drink some Coca-Colas, and that helped actually. They brought them in between rounds and stuff so I could get tanked up on some Coca-Cola, and it worked. It worked. Yes, hit the thumbs up, everybody, as Jeff Wedding has said. Good evening, everybody. So yeah, busy day, but I actually have, this is like a momentous day. I don't really have days where I've got something that I can kind of high five myself and be proud of a moment passing. But today's a really big day for me. So I'm gonna crack open a Coke right now, right there. I could have lied and said it was a beer or something, but this is my toast to this day, and I'll tell you what it is in a second. There we go. So I have in my hands the signed purchase agreement for the Chips Clubhouse property and the asset purchase agreement as well for the entire contents and stuff of the course. So I have, where that's not done, but the agreements have been signed. I go to the title company tomorrow, and yeah, so we finally are there. We're probably about 10 days to 2 weeks away from making it finally official that the mini golf is no more, and Maureen in my life. Yes, thank you very much, Harry and Jeff, everybody. It's a real big day for me. It feels as good as the day when we paid off the business loan that we had to take out on Chips too. That was a really amazing day. We had a 10-year business loan for over $250,000, and we paid it off in 9 years. And that was when I got the monkey off my back. Was that? So it feels as great as that day did. And yeah. It's I won't miss it. I really won't at the end of the day, but I did love a lot of it. And I actually have I have to give the buyer the original artwork that I had commissioned when we came up with the character and everything. So I don't have it on me right now. I'm gonna have to scan that, but I'll show that off before I give it away. But that was always something fun to have, and I hadn't looked at it probably in 13 years since we had it done. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Really, it's I can't tell you how happy I am. So yeah, but it took a bit of working to get the last fine details ironed out and everything. And I was hoping to get it I wanted to get it done before the beginning of the year, so I didn't carry over into this year and everything. But hey, a deal being done is a deal being done. So yeah, just leaving the blue line. I should do that, Mikhail. But I'm even giving them back all the. I had a ton of prelims done for it too, so I'm going to give them everything just so I can officially feel like I have literally passed every scrap of paper and evidence that that I put effort into that project. So it did actually pay off, Eric. I mean, I basically probably got a little bit more back from on the art side, all the art investment I had to do to put that thing together. I think we actually made more money back. Probably not what it would have been worth today, but we definitely came out ahead given the fact that we owned it for so long, and what we're getting back. I'm actually making more money on the sale of the property than I am on the business, and I'm perfectly fine with that. We kind of went into it thinking if that was what would happen, then that was okay. It's pretty much a wash on the business sale, but the property is really, and with the way the market is on properties today, so it's kind of a good time for me to sign out. But yes, so franchise Chips. Nope, I'm done. Never again will I do a brick and mortar business. It's all CAF and the Infected by Art book. Those two projects and nothing more for the rest of my life. So yeah. So thank you, everybody. We've talked about it, we've joked about it for so long, and it's finally come to pass. I think I did ask the guy if he wouldn't mind if I filmed some memes there after the weather gets a little bit better. I wanted to do one set of memes for Thor, and probably see if I can get Mike out here and we'll do something on the golf course. But last opportunity to utilize that space for something along those lines. I always meant to during the year last year, and we just never got around to it. And you're absolutely right, Mr. Red Jack. One less thing on my back, and I've got a few other things that have been gnawing at me. That's why we're really close. It's like I feel like after I hit mid-March, we're going to be in a really great spot. I mean, I actually started work on Comic Art Live PR and things, which earlier this week, that I hadn't usually done until about 2 months in advance. So like when you're in your gallery today, I've got the date up on there and everything. And I did some PR write-ups that I hope to be able to start pushing out in the next few weeks as well. So my goal is really CAF, you know, Comic Art Live and everything else all around the comic art world. Some more time here for everybody too. So that's yeah, only poker chips from here on out, said NSN Art. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, I feel really good. This is where I wanted to be for a long time, and now I'm almost there. But so I kind of came in unprepared tonight because I really have been working on lots of different stuff. Because we've got the Kat and Sharon show next Monday, I started getting memes and some photographs from that to kind of get things set up for that. So I was working on that. My son's been out of town for a week, so I had to pick up the slack on a few things for him as well. So we've been just been very, very, very hectic today, but a good day all around. So you know, I wanted to just kind of, well, there's so many things we could talk about, but we might as well just jump into the schedule. I was texting with Jason D'Ambrosio today, and he said I need to get a calendar online that really has the full slate of things that we're doing here on the Comic Art Live channel. So I kind of looked into it. I'm going to probably experiment with a Google Calendar that I can share with everybody, and I'll link that somewhere on CAF, probably in the right column where I show past shows, like to see an upcoming lineup. It would be good for me because I've gotten so many things going on the last couple months that I've double booked a few things and had to change things around. So I'm getting to the point where I need to keep a better schedule, and you know, for my help, to my edification, so I don't lose track of whom I've got scheduled. I mean, I'm going to show you the schedule, and even after I'd made it as a slide here to show you, I'd gotten an email from somebody who arranged the Howard Chaykin show saying that they had lined up another sales show for me in I think 2 weeks from now. So that's not going to be on the schedule. So why don't we look at the upcoming sales schedule just to talk a little bit about that. We've got the Kat and Sharon show on next Monday, and that, you know, I let Kat and Anthony and Sharon work out what the round by round pricing was going to be. I think it's going to be pretty close to a normal show, but I don't know if they're doing 2 pieces per round. I think they might be doing 1 piece per round for all 15 rounds, but a very similar price structure to what we would normally do on a regularly priced show with Anthony and Mike. So we're going to follow that one up with a $1,000 and under show on Wednesday. And then the following week on Monday, I've got Miko Swayan from Next Comic Art. He is bringing new art for sale, and Jiggy will be there with me. So we'll do a regular show on that week. Then the following Monday, I'll have Matt Kennedy versus our regular battler, Jordan. That will be a regularly priced show. Lots of interesting art that's going to come in with that. We've got a good theme. I was thinking that I'd be able to show you a little teaser on what the theme for that show was, but I'm waiting on something from one of the guys, so I can't tease it. But it will be a very, very, very fun night on the 7th of March. Then because of that show, we're going to do another discounted show on Wednesday, and then I've got a couple of other things coming up. I've got on the 28th of March. I still don't have a list from Jiggy who he's bringing, but it's Women's Month, and so he has promised me at least 3 or 4 people on his team of artists that will be with us that night, have art for sale. I don't know if they might be offering some commissions as well, but that should be a really fun show. I think you know, he's excited about it, so I said I'll do it. I mean, I think it's going to be. He wants to have a show every month, so and I guess we're going to do 2 this month. So he's going to keep bringing artists around, and I'm going to keep talking to him and enjoying their company. Which, you know, that's actually a note, something I wanted to talk to you about. So I'm putting that here. But after that, on the 18th of April, my birthday, I'm going to be hanging out with Nick Barucci and Jordan, and they're going to be doing a $500 and under show. So that's going to be a big one. 24 pieces of art from each of them, 12 rounds. So, and everything under 500. So it'll be fun. I think we've talked a little bit about some theme possibilities for that show, but nothing has been nailed down as of yet. And then you can see on the 30th, I'll have Joe Linzner back. I think when I talked to him last, you know, we sold a lot of covers for him in the first show that we did. And this time around, I think he's going to be bringing a lot of interior artwork. So, you know, all probably primarily published work. He didn't mention anything about bringing any commission style pieces this time around, but I know that Joe does not have well, I think he's going to Baltimore this year, but that might be his only show. When we had talked a month ago, his plans were to really not do too many shows this year, but I do believe I saw Baltimore listed him and Christina on their list for the fall. And then I've kind of, and this is completely my fault with the Afua and Carl Moline show. I actually had something come up that is the weekend after next, so I had to cancel that. So we haven't been able to reschedule and pick a date for that show yet. But I'm actually going to be going down to Columbus with Ben Saunders and Mike Berkey. Ben Saunders is the guy who organized the Marvel exhibit, and so we kind of got an invite to get a special tour of the Marvel exhibit. And as it turns out, I didn't know this, but Dinesh was actually also invited. So he's flying into Columbus, Ohio as well. So we're going to have a pretty interesting meetup that weekend. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. They're going to give us exclusive access to some stuff to see a few things. Mike's giving them some Spider-Man art to add to the show. And I think they're taking us all out to dinner, and we're gonna have a good time. So I'm really looking forward to getting to meet Dinesh in person, and Ben, whom I've emailed with a lot, and I just have not had the opportunity to meet him before. So this is going to be a good, I can guarantee I'll be taking lots of pictures. So I will share my experience with all of you when I get back. So, but I should add to here, because I can't add it now, but I was told that I am going to be doing a sales show on Saturday. What day? I believe it was March. Oh gosh, where it is? There it is. March 5th. I will be doing a sales show, interview and sales show with Dennis Cowan. So I don't have any particulars on what he is going to be bringing. I would imagine it's going to be similar to the Howard Chaykin show, where we, primarily he brought commissioned work, but you never know. I've got his email now. He's kind of replied back and forth with the people who are organizing it. So I'll try to see if I can get any advance idea on what he'll be bringing. I know that they told him that he needs to get his artwork scans to me within the next week. So I guess I'll have a clear view and understanding of what art Dennis will be bringing. But that would be a 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time show on March 5th. So add that to your calendar too. And if I do start a calendar, I will definitely share it with everybody so that we can kind of stay on top of what we're got going on here. Are we going to see a rematch between Albert and Mike? Absolutely. It's all just a question of when I can get them. Albert's been busy. He took a few vacations the last month and a half. And so he's been a little bit hard to nail down. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. And hey, Dino, that's, I could mention that to him. That could be a hint to get Dennis to draw a deathlock. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'll ask him. I'll see if he will, because if he says he's going to be drawing commission style work, that would be a good one for him to add. But let's see what else. Yeah, that's but with Albert, I'm not quite sure. We still have a show that we wanted to do that was going to be a members only art drop, like the Bruce Timm art drop. I know some people don't like that idea. I mean, I don't think necessarily anybody in the chat doesn't like that. I mean, I don't think anybody really had a problem with the Bruce Timm art drop. There was some rumblings after the show where people were like, how dare you charge for access to buy artwork? And at the end of the day, I looked at it, and Albert looked at it in the same way, that we showed most of the artwork before the sale, and so thereby, if it wasn't like we were hiding it, and so if people wanted to, if they saw stuff they wanted to buy, no big deal to spend their $4.99 for that month to gain access to do it. And at the end of the day, I mean, if you buy from Heritage, you're paying 20% on anything you buy. To get into a con, you're paying $30 or more to get in. So the idea that once in a while there's a members only event for the people that support the channel, I don't think is a bad thing. So, I mean, I didn't get a lot of, hate mail, but I know that there was definitely some misconceptions out there. I saw some people saying that, everything on our channel requires you to be a member. I don't know. There was some stupid people talking rumor wise about, our sales shows. So I didn't really respond to any of that. I just thought it was kind of odd that it was out there. Other people were correcting them and everything, but yeah, we've only done that one time, but that's another show that we got to work out. And as you'll see in a second, when I show you the chat schedule coming up, I pretty much am booked all the way through March. I've got a solid schedule of Monday through Thursdays and then some Saturdays. So let me go ahead and show you what the chat schedule looks like now. So next Tuesday, I'll have Phil R on. He's a Walking Dead collector, been on CAF for quite some time. and I haven't got his artwork yet that I'll be pulling up and setting up for that one. But I did get his show in the schedule on YouTube. Then I'll have Joe and Nadia Manarino on the following, what is it? The following Tuesday, and we're going to do a series of talks with Joe and Nadia. That first one will just be about them as collectors, and they'll be showing off some of the art in their collection. As you are probably aware, if you've ever met them, I know they've probably got several thousand pieces of art in their collection. So I'll be very curious to see which 12 or so pieces they're going to pick to show, but it'll be a good show for sure. And then the following Tuesday, I've got Eric Wenger on. Then I've only put it in here more as a reminder for myself, but I've got Micah from Comic Connect opening the CAF update on 310 with me with a preview of the Comic Connect auction that begins, I think, in 3 days. And then the following Monday, I've got Hakes on for an auction preview. They've got over 100 artworks in their current auction. And I know that I think Sean, Kelly, and Tim will be joining me on that show. Then I've got Sean Gordon Murphy and his rep on Tuesday the 15th. Then on the following Monday, I've got the X-Men artist debate that we'll be having, and I know that Jason and Larry will be joining me for that one. We may or may not be having a few other guests to debate the merits of X-Men artists, but they thought it would be a good idea, and I think there'll be a lot of interesting things to discuss when we think about what makes somebody your favorite artist, because for me, clearly it was more about the books and the stories that I read when I was collecting versus the periods that I missed, and those oversights can cloud your judgment on what artists are really the best artists for a given title. Then I'll have Brian Norton on Tuesday on the 22nd. Then the following week on a Tuesday, I'll have Jeremy Roberts on. And on the 31st, which would be a Thursday, I'm going to have Dino and Nick on, and it'll be a similar show to what we did the other day with Dinesh and Mike, where they're going to show us some artwork from their collections that they've never posted the CAF or shared anywhere. And we're going to talk about why that may be, and just revel in the idea that we're going to get to see some art that we wouldn't probably normally get to see. And so we're going to do that on Thursday in place of the CAF update, and I will probably move the CAF update to that Friday and make it a smaller show. So really, but you can see now that I'm trying to work this far ahead, I really do need a schedule laid out that outlines everything I'm doing, who I'm doing it with, special guests that I'm going to be having on different shows, so I don't lose track of it. And having something out there for us all to look at would be very helpful, especially because I get lots of inquiries about doing the chats and everything as well. So at least if I have something to reference back to and show to somebody, it'll certainly make scheduling things much easier for us all. But that's right, Mr. Red Jack. We'll see how things go on the 22nd. Yeah, and I know I'm looking through here, but so that's where the schedule's at. I think it's really going to be kind of crazy. And on top of it, we are going to have Howard back for a sales show, probably midsummer or late summer. But he had such a good time, he wanted to come back and do some kind of a talk show. So I think that we've been kicking around some ideas and dates, and I think that he and I might do something in May. But we haven't picked a time, and it's probably going to be more. Well, remember how I talked to him about his execution of interior pages, and I thought his approach was really unique, and that's his. He's given a regular talk on that, and he calls it the paradigm, and it's his approach to storytelling. And so he wanted to do, and he's done these before as paid events. Previously through Talent Talk and a few other online venues that were like just Zoom calls that only people who paid could get in on them. And I said, well, if you'd like to do one on here, I don't know how much I can pay you, but let's give it a try. Let's do one of these and see what the reception is. I mean, it might be a talk that might be a little bit geared towards artists, but I think at the same time, we as collectors would probably love to listen to Howard talk for an hour about the way he considers page layout and design and storytelling. So I think that that will be a fun thing to do. But we're looking at May, and I can't really tell you what day yet, because May's going to be busy with the Comic Art Live show and everything too. So if it's going to happen, it'll happen early in the month. Man, you guys are already debating the X-Men in here, and we've got a month until the show. So yes, thank you, Rick. I appreciate that as well. But all right, so there you go. So schedule is really, 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 really crazy. But as everybody also probably heard early in the week, I did send out the trophies to everybody who won a best of award top honors for each of the 10 categories and those 5 other categories that were out there. I thought about putting a note in them saying, hey, send me a picture, but I've said it enough. And I did get one picture. I didn't get permission to show the picture, but I'm going to show it anyway because it was pretty awesome. I even sent it to my uncle who made the trophies, and he was super pleased with how it turned out. So I asked everybody to send me a photo of where they ended up placing it. So this is where Fish has placed his trophy, and certainly in a spot of distinction, and it certainly deserves to be there. I'm really happy to see how it fits in with there. Yeah, it makes me wish I had done a little bit more with the hammer, but at the end of the day, it looks good and it fits right in with the scene there. And Fish, you certainly earned that with the Buscema piece that you picked up, and you put it in the right spot. So thank you for doing that. And anybody else who gets one of those trophies, please send me a photograph once you put it wherever you're going to leave it, and I'll share it here and send it to my uncle. It makes him happy, since those things took a day to print, each one of them. So 16 days to get all those printed up for us. And I actually asked him for 2 more. So he's got those in the mail for me too. Yes, for Asgard. Very, very true, Dino. And so before there was another reason why I wanted to bring up the best of too, because we weren't able to have Brian on the chat after on the show following that, where we did some kicking around of ideas and things about the best of, because Brian did email me. I should have those notes in front of me, so I'm looking at you and not looking at my laptop. But he said that the reason DPSs weren't part of the show, they'd looked into it, but he felt that people weren't submitting enough of them. So I think that's why they didn't do it. So obviously we're going to change that this time around. I think if there was a DPS category, people would submit to it. So we're going to do that. He was in agreement on many of the other things. And it was funny. He brought up like these 4 or 5 points that were things from past years, considerations that were on the Comic Ardell that I really don't even think a lot of it really applies anymore. But let's see, he had ideas from years past. Don't list the owner of a piece, and just to make the whole contest about the art and not the owner. And I don't know about you. I mean, did anybody really look at the owner and say, I'm going to vote for my friend, or I'm only going to vote for, this particular collector's pieces, or I'm not going to vote for it now that I know it's this collector? I don't think hiding the owner's name, it's because to me, it's all kind of one and the same. The artist, the collector, the idea that you wouldn't list the collector with the piece seems weird. Don't have comments on the pieces received during the year, since it might influence pieces posted. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's a factor. If we take out the owner's name, replace with the artist's name, but again, not just that. Again, that's already there. A few years ago, we talked about having a slideshow feature to give voters an easier way to get around through the pieces. That's not a bad idea to add, at least for when it comes to voting. I think I could probably put something like that together if everybody thought that was a good idea. And let's see, he said best of entry should have their own interface. And that's kind of the same as the last one. He wants to, so it sounded like more they were trying to hide owners' names and try to make the voting process a little bit easier. So, I mean, I guess we've kind of done that, but we can probably do a little bit better of a job. And regular CAF users knew, yeah, exactly. I mean, what's hiding the owner's name going to really achieve? So I don't know. I think that this was more, I mean, these are probably notes Brian's pulling out of, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So there, but everything else he agreed with. He agreed with expanding the categories a bit, and branching out into doing some artist awards as well. So and expanding the non-art related awards. So Brian was on board with most things, and also wanted me to remember what the issues were in the past that we had to deal with. So I don't know. I think having the collectors' names is good, because I think about it this way too. Remember, we look at the best of as a chance for everybody to see great artwork that was posted to CAF in the last year. Many of it that you didn't even know happened, right? Because I mean, at least a third of the art that was added there, I don't believe that I had seen added to CAF. So I think being able to go, you see a piece of art and you see the collector, and eventually it might bring you back into their CAF gallery, or you see their name again a week later and you remember what was in the best of, and then that takes you back in. So I think the collectors' names need to be a part of it. It's I know we're awarding the art, but I think the collectors are a big part of it, and hiding their names wouldn't work. Wouldn't work to anybody's advantage. And the community is much larger now. So I would agree. I would agree. So now I've gotten Brian's notes off my list. So that's I think that was all I wanted to talk about on the best of. But please, anybody else, send me your photographs once you get the piece set up on your mantle or wherever you end up putting it. Yeah, that will make me happy. And what do we got there? You know what I would best single panel. That's well, that'd be an interesting way to look at something, right? I mean, I think there's some panels in the pieces I picked today, interior pages, where you could look at it and say that's pretty darn good panel. If that was a splash page, it'd be pretty incredible, or a cover. So yeah, I like the idea. There's different ways we can make things more granular. I know that I'm going to definitely be talking with Brian and Mikhail, and we should probably rope in a few other people about some point, maybe in the summer, mid-year, where we can kind of set down some hopes and guidelines that we want to see happen with the next best of, and implement as many as we can, but not wait until the last minute. Waiting until December won't be a good idea. We really need to be talking about it in the middle of the summer so that Maureen and I can kind of pace ourselves and figure out what we can and can't do. Sorry, reading through the chat again. But yeah. Okay, Nick, that's probably very true. But hey, but so one thing I did want to remind everybody, we did do that Kickstarter for Dueling Dealers, and I should have probably mentioned that before we even did the schedule, since I was talking about the Dueling Dealers. But the Kickstarter is out there for the trading cards. I know we're going to hit the goal. I'm not worried about that. Really, wherever we end up, we're going to probably end up picking up some extra cards. And this isn't a for-profit venture at all. If we have any extra money laying around, I'll probably end up donating that to something. But not knowing where things are going to end up and how many cards we're going to end up buying and that sort of thing, I don't really want to say, oh, I'm going to do this. But this is more for fun, for everybody to enjoy the hobby and walk away with something other than just art all the time. So we've got 60 cards in the trading card set. It's going to cover the first 50 episodes. And we're also going to, we did print that first set of 25 episodes, and there were 25 cards from that. We're going to mix those up a little bit. It'll make that first set that we gave out to only, I think, 15 people. It'll make it even more special because those cards will be very unique to it. There's going to be some carryover, especially on the character cards for Dino and Mike and Billigan and whatnot. But I wanted to mix up the more of the show meme oriented cards that are in there too. So it'll make for a very unique set. It won't be the 25 from that one and then adding 35 new ones to it. I think we want to kind of make it a little bit more enjoyable and pull some things in. And we definitely talked about doing some bonus cards in there as well. And if things go well, I'll even add more cards to it just for the fun of it. So we'll see. We're only a day into it, and it's almost funded. But yeah, Sharon sketch card. We did add the sketch card goal to it, and I don't know how we're going to work that out. But I'm sure that everybody said they would draw as many cards as were needed, and we would divvy it up between the four of us. So need to cut up diaper cards. I don't know. But fortunately that happened after episode 50, so I don't have to worry about that for quite some time. But Pasty Billigan, I don't think so hard. But we'll see. At the end of the day, it's just fun to be doing these things. And I actually, when I sent out the trophies, I put some cards in those as well. So I just like enjoy sending out stuff and as much things as we get here. And we didn't have a mail call this week. I've actually got a few packages coming in that I think I'll have for the next show. But I didn't actually buy any art this past week, and I didn't get anything in the mail, did I? No, I've got a bunch of stuff going out still. But everybody's fixating on the X-Men and diapers tonight. That's all right, though. I don't mind. But so the Kickstarter is out there, and I will remind everybody about it as we draw near the end of that, which is still 30 days away. We did find, I was doing some work on the want list search. I had some people ask me some questions about it recently. And so Maureen and I were looking into whether or not there were certain things were having some issues. And Chris Snork, you had an email to me about something. It's not even unrelated, related to this, but I can bring that up as well and answer it now since I didn't have the chance to answer it when you emailed me. Everybody knows that the want list feature on CAF allows you to set up keywords that you get notified. Well, if you're premium, you get notified immediately. And if you're non-premium, you get notified on those keywords about I think it's 6 hours later. So what I had was I actually had a non-premium member email me, and I'm going to share the screen just because I know there's non-premium members who are watching right now. So everybody might as well get a good refresher on how want lists work, because I had to go back and learn a few things myself. Just, again, we don't write good manuals for CAF, unfortunately. So let me share this extra screen here. So where are you? There you go. So yeah, so I had somebody email me saying, "Hey, this thing doesn't work. Why am I not getting emailed?" And they were a non-premium member, and it was funny. They had Brian O'Malley as one of their keywords, and of course, last week Felix had that art drop, and so it was an easy answer for me when I saw he wasn't premium. He said, "Why didn't I get emailed?" And I told him, "Well, by the time 6 hours were up, all of the Brian O'Malley artwork was sold, so there was nothing to email you about at that point. It had all been purged. Anybody who had anything from Scott Pilgrim or whatnot in their keywords would have gotten those. I actually think that the hyphen in O'Malley is not working right on the want list alert. So that is one thing that came out of that I'm going to look into. But but so it was interesting, for me to be able to tell somebody why they weren't getting it, because they said to me, "Hey, I'd probably go premium if this thing actually worked." And so I told them, well, it would have worked, but, or at least I think it would have worked, but at the end of the day, the art was sold by the time it got to his level 6 hours later. But the interesting thing was that, and I can go over to here first. I couldn't figure out. He was showing me this screen, and he was saying, "I'm saving my keywords over here," and I had kind of forgotten one of the things we had done, because in here, let's see. I mean, well, it's not even good to do that. You can see right here, get email alerts. This is in there for everybody that's logged in, and if you click on that, it actually takes you to your want list edit page. Now, I had kind of forgotten I even put that link in there, because that's how he was getting to this page. And non-premium people only have 5 or 10. I can't even remember. It's 5 or 10 keywords, I think. I think it might be 5. So he was showing me that. But the funny thing was he was kind of asking me some other questions about it, and I found a programming error for the non-premium members, because what would happen was that if they were in their over here on the Comic Art want list page, they actually didn't get the screen up here, because this is the way you would normally go to edit that same list. You would you go to your want list section here, and then, like I said, that first section, you would update your keywords from there. Well, that whole section was hidden from non-premium members. So it didn't show them that they could even edit their keywords, and the only place they could get to it was from the search page. And I was shocked, that was actually as an oversight. And I had forgotten that the link was even there, because that was what happened. I went back to him, like, "How are you even getting to the edit page?" Because I couldn't figure out how to get there. And then he reminded me that the link was there. So there you have it, everybody. If you're a non-premium member, you should be, you can now actually get to manage your want list keywords from the appropriate place. But for those of you who want a quicker way to maybe massage your keywords, you can do it from here or from over there as well. So, and for those of you, again, who don't know anything about the want list keyword alerts, these are available to all members. But as I said, right now, premium members get 20 keywords in this. And as artwork is added to our dealer search or the classifieds, you will be notified within 5 minutes of the art being posted that new art for sale meets those, has met any of your keyword criteria. So now you can see all of mine. Most of that's just for fun. I put Joe in there and cover, but cover always nets me several emails a day. So sometimes the more generic you are, the better. What Chris had asked me in an email was, he has a big Thing fan, right? So he has the word Thing in there, but of course he's getting results for Swamp Thing as well. We don't have the ability at this moment to put a negative keyword along with your keyword results. So you can't say Thing, not Swamp, in other words, to get that out of there. It's probably possible. We do employ negative keywords in a few places on our searches, so that may be workable. I'd have to talk to Maureen about it. It might be a little more complicated in the fashion that we have this set up, since it's literally just going through and grabbing everybody's keywords. It's possible. I mean, and it's all a matter of sweat and knowledge to get those sorts of things done. But again, if nobody's using their wantless keyword alerts, I would be very disappointed, because it really is. I mean, as buyers, for you guys, it's if you're a premium member supporting CAF, it's the best thing out there as far as getting the jump on everybody else who's trying to buy the same things that you are. And and as I mean, even with, I love Comic Card Tracker. I hope one day to have as many sites crawled as they do. But as you know, with Comic Card Tracker, they get our data delayed by 8 hours, and that includes the data from the dealers. So really, members of CAF, whether they're premium or not, will get their new art updates faster through CAF. And if you're premium, really faster through CAF, if you're using our keyword alerts. And I've always meant to do it. I keep forgetting. I'm putting a note in here right now because I actually wanted to double the premium member keywords in here from 20 to 40 to get it at least moving to a better number that might be a little more encompassing of all the things that you might be collecting. We'd kept it at 20 as a test because we didn't know how, I think we have 1,000 premium members now, and if everybody, that's a lot of keywords to be cycling through every 5 minutes to send out emails on. And early on, we were a little concerned that that might cause problems with the mail server or SQL in general as far as searches go. But we pretty much had no no real issues at all with the with the SQL database or with the email servers. So I've really got to double that number to 20. But yeah, so there you have it. You guys should definitely, if you're not using it, use it. I know it's getting used a lot. I think we probably send out about 25,000 emails a day for the keyword alerts. So, but yeah, again, so I feel stupid because we've had this out here now 2 years, and non-premium members really didn't know how to edit it because it wasn't available to them. And I hate oversights like that. We do test things as premium members and non-premium members all the time, and those kinds of things really, something 2 years down the road should never happen. But it took one guy who was pointing out something he thought was wrong with the site to help me see that there was a problem. So I apologize to all non-premium members for not making that really easy. So there you have that. And we had that talk the other, came up during Dinesh's conversation. I wanted to talk about watermarks. If there was anything anybody really wanted to talk about related to watermarks, I know somebody was asking about being able to put a CAF generic watermark on artwork, and I don't really know if anybody has anything else they wanted to talk about that. I think I said everything I kind of wanted to about watermarks, and how I feel like it's really a personal decision, and we have an only program that if people are premium, can they have a watermark. So if nobody wants to really chat more about that, I'm good. Watermarks suck. That's what Rich Danny said. I agree. I mean, I'd rather not have them on the artwork as well. I mean, I think the thing is we do resize everybody's. If you're premium, you can have a max image size of 2,000 pixels tall. That's not a great print size image. I mean, somebody could screw around with it, but it won't end up being anything that's that can be really well done in a print shop of any way. Non-premium members can only have an 800 pixel tall image. So at the end of the day, I think that, well, how do they stink? Some people put them in the wrong places. Some people literally have it covering the whole artwork because they make them really gigantic. And other times people, sorry, I'm trying to read the chat and talk. But some people do their watermarks on their own and don't use CAF system to do it. But I can remind people how it works for those of you who actually want to ever use a watermark feature if you're a premium member. I can always remember how to get to my premium preferences. And so my premium preferences, there is a my watermark feature, and essentially you just need to create a JPEG or a GIF and or GIF, as you may prefer. And what'll happen is for that, you want to have just a white background, and preferably you can really do this in any color you want. It tends to look better with black text on a white background. Essentially, this, if I should put an outline on this, but say this is the corner of the artwork or the image here, upper left. It takes that image and moves it to the upper left of your artwork when the watermark goes on. So you literally could create this gigantic watermark, and it will completely blank out your image if you really wanted to. So right now I don't have one selected, and because if I did, it would actually be showing it above the choose file button. So I've got no watermark set up on mine. But for those of you who want to use one, you can do it that way. If you've added one and you don't know how to get rid of it, there would be a big delete button here to get rid of the watermark if you weren't really happy with the way it was looking on your artwork. So, and it is, I get the pros and cons from it. Some artists would prefer to have watermarks, and most collectors don't like to see them. And I, for one, watermark that reads photocopy. Yes. And yeah, no, I don't know if it'll increase the value or not. But I'm missing out on this, on the whole chat here. I'm sorry to say. Yes, that's why we have the Photoshop. I get it, Rich. That's all right. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about that in case anybody had any real questions about it or wanted to converse any more about watermarks. So I know that now that we don't need to talk about watermarks anymore. I had a note on here. I don't know if is West in the chat today, because I remember he was the one who wanted me to talk about the sketchbook feature and why we even have it. But I don't think I've seen West comment tonight, so he might not be around. So maybe I should save that for another day. Typers can leave a watermark. Yes, they can. So yeah, because remember we were talking about what was the purpose behind CAF? Why did we decide to make it? And at the time I had wanted to essentially, I was looking to kind of get a foothold in the hobby, just so people would get to know me. And back in the day, anybody who was on the Comic Art L back in the day would remember they actually had a physical sketchbook that was passed around to the collectors, and the collectors were drawing in it. And I had never seen it. I think most people never saw it, but it was always out there. People would talk about it, how oh, it got to Gary Land and it's been sitting with him for the last 3 months. But so these guys would, and I don't know what started it. Who the heck knows? But they had this idea that the collectors were going to be artists and that they were going to add to this sketchbook over time. And maybe they had filled one up and they were on their second one. I don't really remember. Brian might remember what the actual deal was with it. But so I think one of the when I started CAF and I knew we were going to be doing the galleries, I'd said to everybody, well, if you really want to keep doing the sketchbook thing, I can put a sketchbook concept and build it right into CAF, and we can just do a monthly sketchbook, and anybody who wants to post a piece of art that they've drawn can post it to it. And if you go back and look at some of the first sketchbooks, because you can literally scroll through that giant list, that it goes all the way back to February 2003, and you can see plenty of artwork that were drawn by different collectors of the time. But the sketchbook evolved. I mean, probably within the first 6 or 8 months, some people would still post art that they had scanned, but then they were to that theme. But then other people were just posting stuff from their collections into the sketchbook based on their theme. And so that's kind of how the sketchbook became, what it is today. So that's why I look at it, I'm like, I don't know. If we really need to keep it. And Hart, I have to upgrade your premium membership. You didn't lie. I got the email right here. But I do those manually when the emails come in, because I like to send a nice thank you letter out. So Hart, you won't be able to get to 20 keywords until the show's over. I'm sorry to say, but yeah, so that's why that is where that darn sketchbook came from. And so one day, I don't know if I ever looked, heavily at redesigning the site and probably listing out all the features and things that CAF does and what I would want it to be doing 10 years from now, sketchbook would probably be one of those things that I would be looking at probably trimming. Maybe I'd make an archive of it for for posterity, but it's not something. It's just something that takes up a little bit of space. Doesn't really lend itself to anything. It's good, but it's not. It just doesn't get seen a lot. And typically, people are posting pieces that are already in their CAF gallery to it. And we've talked about that before, saying, oh, why can't we share something from our CAF gallery into the sketchbook? Well, never built it that way, so we'll see. Bill, make sure the nice letter has one. Yeah. Let's see. So that's yeah. Sketchbook would probably be one of my first things to get rid of if we ever get to that point. And I hope we do. And we've talked. I think you guys have seen that I really am interested in getting some work done later this year. As several people noted, that I am looking into getting a app developed, potentially focus initially just on adding art to CAF, and then kind of allowing the app to branch out from that point. But I think a simple app like that would be a great thing for people. I mean, some people just don't, have time to sit at their desktops. They're always on their phones or their tablets. So an app would be a good asset for several people. And as the hobby collectors get younger, I think that's what they're going to expect. So we need to do that. Let me see here. Now, I don't want to, I'm never going to forget doing my EXP promos again, because I'm never going to wait till the end of the show. So I'm going to show Nick's EXP promo for tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. is the EXP's next show, 7 to 8 p.m. every single Friday. Now that Nick is back on his feet, he is healthy and he is ready to go. And we had a great show together almost a month ago. Nick, I'm probably due to be on another Friday show, so let's try to line something up soon. But let me go ahead and play the promo for tomorrow's EXP so you can see the artwork that he's going to have available.
Hey everybody, hope you had a great weekend, a great Valentine's Day. Bring up Valentine's Day because this Friday at 7 p.m. on The Experience, we are going to talk about original art that we love. And so what we're going to do right now is talk about the original art that we love. Now keep in mind, when we do our shows, we will have some art under $100, some art under $200, but under 100 is under 200 as well. But anyway, you get my point. So we're gonna have fun. You guys know the way I do the shows. It's not a hard sell. I love talking art. I love the fact that you guys bring me into your homes, and I'm very appreciative of it. So getting right into it, we have some, what you might term these days as classic art from 2004. Beautiful Howard Porter Aquaman art, and this is gorgeous, inked by Wade von Grawbadger. We are going to have Green Lantern Corps number 6 art. This is Blue Line inked by Scott Hanna. But then we have Hulk 15 by Ron Garney and Sal Buscema. We move on to Nova, Wellington Alves and Scott Hanna. Incredible artwork by Sean Chen on Avengers Academy. I love this page. It is so beautiful. Now we have one high-end piece. We will have Invincible Red Sonja number 7 cover by Jamie Biggs in homage to Todd McFarlane. Now, one of these items, either the Ultimate End number 2, page 8 and 9 spread, it'll either be at a really good blockbuster price, or maybe we'll make it best offer. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Or maybe it'll be the Leonard Kirk that is best offer. I love this Captain Britain. Then we have Mandalorian, Star Wars, as we're getting ready for the 45th anniversary. We have Despicable Deadpool. We have Punchline, both by Ken Hazer, and the Deadpool signed by co-creator Fabian Nicieza. So, this Friday, February 18th, 7 p.m., only on The Experience. And if you would be so kind, please hit that thumbs up button. It would be really appreciated. And share. Sharing is caring. See you Friday at 7.
See you Friday at 7, Nick. So there you have it. So as Nick said, I can be on there anytime. So maybe next Friday, if I've got the time and Nick's got the time, I'll definitely do it. I saw where was that comment? I should have highlighted it before I scrolled by it. Ruben asks, can we please bring back the ability to edit a comment that we're replying to? I don't even remember if we ever had the ability to do that. I know people have asked me about it. I would definitely think it would be a wise thing to add back, or at least add for the first time, because I honestly don't think we've ever had it. The only thing we ever allowed people to do was delete. If you were a premium member, you could delete comments off of your own artwork, but we never gave, I really don't believe we ever gave the ability to a person who was commenting to actually edit their comment. I know that's stupid, but because I'll tell you what happens a lot is, people who sit there and hit post to their comment, and then their internet connection goes bad, and they hit post 2 or 3 other times, and then they get that one comment is on there 3 or 4 times. So Ruben says I did. If Ruben says I did, I'm going to believe him. But boy, it would have been a real long time ago, and I can't imagine. I think in the forum you can edit your post, I believe, but yeah, I don't remember the comments, because comments has never been it's never been a very dynamic section of CAF. Of course, and I mean that as far as like a technical editing standpoint, there was there's no WYSIWYG on it or anything like that. So I can go back and take a look. I'm sure Maureen and I could look into it and make it happen. it would help out when people have that technical error and they end up posting the same comment multiple times. Yes, I'm glad you like it, Fish. It looks great where you've got it on display. I'm jealous. Now I don't have any. I really don't have any statues here as for all the stuff that you see behind me. But I'm jealous of all the Thor and the Odin there. I mean, those things are great. So let's see. And yes, Mikhail, I know that's such a bad thing that we do, that we don't show the piece when you're commenting on it, because you should be able to look at it. You're writing about it, and we don't show it. So let me make a note. Show the artwork on the comments. I mean, that's been one of my pet peeves forever as well. But I never think about it until I leave a comment, and then I forget to tell Maureen about it. I forget, there was actually she got real mad at me the other day. I don't know what it was. But there was something on the site, and I said, I've been looking at this like this for years. Oh, actually, I know what it is. She hasn't, and it still hasn't gotten fixed. It's not on CAF though. It's on Comic Art Shop. Believe it or not. When we did the mobile friendly redesign on Comic Art Shop, it's mobile friendly. CAF isn't, but Comic Art Shop is. The view count, when you're looking at a piece of art, everybody's art says view count equals 0. Somehow the programming, when we switched to the redesign, is looking at the wrong field or no field. I don't know what field it's looking at, but it's not looking at the proper view count for the artwork. So no one's ever said anything to me, but I've seen it since the day we did it, and I think that was like 5 years ago. But I don't use Comic Art Shop too often, so I don't go back there and notice it. But I was doing when I was doing the SSL updates to all the sites, I actually moved Comic Art Shop to one of our own SSLs, and so I was going through the site, making sure everything worked. And I saw the view count, 2 years probably after the last time I saw it, and it was still set to 0. So I went and told Maureen about it. She's like, how could you leave that thing out there forever? I'm like, well, but I get you. Typos are a bad thing. And I see Ted and Ruben both said the same thing. Well, I've got it written down here. We will definitely look into making it so you can edit and clean up a comment. Shouldn't just be a premium member's right to delete. But yep, I know. And sometimes people do leave comments they wish they could remove. And I've gotten a few of those emails before. And I always say, well, if the person you left the comment on is premium, you could just ask him. He'll delete it, because I don't have an easy way to actually delete comments myself. So it's I need a little bit more power through the CAF site, I guess, to be able to correct little things like that. About the only thing that we have edit-wise that I can do is when we have not work safe images, I've got some controls to remove items from there, and but that's really about it. You'd think I'd have a lot more power built into things, but I do not. But Ruben, I got it. Hey, if the community wants it, I really should look to add it. And I know that there's a few there's lots of things that we need to improve. That's why the redesign, if we really got to think about how we're going to get it and make it happen. Just because I know, we still have lots of places where there's just a straight text box. I mean, the description for your gallery is still a flat text box. You have to write your own HTML. So, there's a lot of upgrades that we can put in there. I mean, I can't believe how behind the times we are in certain aspects. And I've always wanted to upgrade the whole add art section to something a little bit more modern. I've tried to make some changes in there that force people to not like click the button multiple times, because where it should freeze it. I mean, there's a lot of modernizing that we can do in the admin, and that will be high up on the list. So just consider you the community. I do, Ruben. I really do. So is it possible to search particularly? Yeah, Mikhail. Yeah, that's, it is. If you go to Comic Art Shop, on Comic Art Shop, you can search anybody's art for sale and only their art for sale when you go to their shop. And we've just never took that same code that does exist and plopped it into someone's gallery, because we always felt like we were helping people search by putting the list of artists on the page, and trying to allow people to see things by art type or by order by comments or views and that sort of thing. But so we were trying to do your searching for you, but I would agree that doesn't help you with titles or characters or anything like that. So we do need to, it's something we need to move over there. Is there a way to add our Comic Art Live interviews here and a link to our CAF galleries? Dave, I've actually been asked about that a couple times, and I wouldn't want you to do it. I should be doing that for you, such that when I do an interview with somebody, there should be a way, because I add a record of every show that we do here into the basically there's a YouTube repository on CAF of every single show that we've ever had. And so if a show is an interview show, ideally for me, it would be when I'm editing it, I should be able to pick your name up on a list and assign you as the person I had on the show, such that when you're looking at the list of videos, you could just click over to your gallery from there. But then similarly, from your gallery, we could say I interviewed you on this date and link over to your interview. So, we've talked that, again, back to the redesign concept. There's a lot of things that I want to do on the front end as well. That's one of them, and making your overall gallery a little bit more about you. We hide everything about you at the bottom of the artwork, and it's actually really confusing to people who come to CAF because who are new. And I could show you some stats on that. I mean, I might as well, since we're going on a little bit of a tangent here before we get to the real CAF update. But CAF is confusing because when people go to it, they think that I own all this artwork, or that this artwork is really owned by nobody. It's just it's part of comic art fans, right? When you're on a gallery, you wouldn't, if you were new to the site, you wouldn't think to look at that little bar at the top that says you're in somebody's gallery. You're kind of scrolling, you're looking at the art. You might not even scroll past it. And even if you did, the first thing you see after you scroll past it is just the art details and a description. You don't even know that the owner's there until you get to the bottom of the screen, right? So new people who come to CAF, I get emailed all the time with silly questions about as if I owned everything. So of course that's not true, and it's a shortcoming of CAF that doesn't put the collector first. So I mentioned this before, being able to put some of the collector information at the top of the page. Not a lot, not to fill it out and push the artwork down too far, but to have your avatar up there, your name bigger, and have your name and CAF gallery, or it might say premium gallery, something like that, just to kind of signify whether you're premium, but have it at the top, and then the art, and then more details about the owner at the bottom. I think that would help people understand that we are a gallery site, not just this, because you've been to comicartcommunity.com. I mean, I haven't been there in years, I know it, but it is still out there. That site is more of a repository for just anybody posting artwork and assigning an artist to it. So I think people come to our site and they just can't believe that there is that much artwork, and it's spread out amongst all these collectors. Even though there's the gallery list thing on the side, new people don't, CAF doesn't help them understand what CAF is, and we need to definitely work that angle a little bit better. I think we would have more people signing up for CAF galleries if they actually understood what the point of the whole site was. And this will be, I don't know, I've showed stats from different things before, but for the sake of it, I'll show you once more why it's important to make people understand what CAF is all about. And here, let me get this up on the screen. So there you go. Some Google Analytics for everybody. There's 93 people on CAF right now watching. Well, they're not too active. You can see that's about an average of maybe a page and a half view a second, or maybe 2 pages a second. So fairly busy. But if we were to look at some stats about the overall traffic, and let's see here. So this is in a 7-day period. We had a total of almost 40,000 people come to CAF in that window. And of those, I'm going to call it 40, right, just to make it easy. You can see of that, 30,000 are new. They've never been to CAF before. So 3/4 of the traffic on CAF, and even on, maybe a little bit more than that, essentially has never been here. And so they don't really understand the point of CAF, or what the purpose is. And so that's I think a flaw on our end for not letting them really get a good understanding of what CAF is about, and then finding a way to get them to want to create a gallery and share their collections and participate in this hobby. So that's it's a high priority for me to kind of work that in a bit. This is feeling like being at work now. Is this what you see all day, Eric? I can show you what countries, and it is surprising, but that's how many. I mean, if we looked at a month, well, we could too, right? Let's see. Oh no, that's summarizing it by month. I'm sorry. Here we go up here. let's see, just tell it to look at the last 30 days. I mean, you'll be surprised. I mean, look at how many people came to CAF. 142,000 new people who have never been to CAF before visited it. And we had 14,400 who are semi-regular visitors that have come back and been here regularly. And, again, about 142,000 people. And, and again, a lot of these people will stumble in from different, for different Google searches and things like that, different referrers that bring people in. But that's a large part of the, of our audience that doesn't come back. So, and of those 142,000, there's got to be a lot of collectors in there. I'm not thinking that there's 20,000 and that we could be, finding a way to get more interested in CAF and hanging out and participating in the community a bit more. But it is a pretty big number, at the end of the day. So, again, that falls back on us and really trying to make CAF a bit more understandable when a collector or somebody who might be interested in collecting lands on the site. It's just very confusing. We've evolved the site with, from day one to here. And all along, I was just, it's always under the assumption, well, you've been here before, you know what you're doing. So it's not, but CAF is not an easy thing to just hop onto and understand readily. So there's work to be done for certain. And I think somebody asked about countries of origin. I mean, we can kind of look at that, I guess. So out of that 156,000, you can see heavily on the US. But as I've always said, CAF is an international website. You will not see this. I mean, Eric, if you look at these charts on a regular basis for your clients, you will know that you will never see stats like this on a normal site anywhere, where half of the traffic is coming from the continental US and then the remainder is all international. So it's, it dwarfs everything else, of course, but I've done a lot of work for clients as well. And typically like the US line number would be at 95%. So, or certainly never under 90. So this is, CAF is very much an international website. And, we just need to do a little better job of things for everybody. And I think we would have a lot more participation, a lot more art shown on our site on a more regular basis. But yeah, I'm always happy when I see that too, because, a lot of people think that there's only, Marvel and DC art primarily posted here, but, and that's true, but there's a lot of love for that kind of artwork. And clearly it's a lot of it comes from outside of the continental US. So there you have it. There you go. Goose said, yeah, you found CAF looking for photos of art. Exactly. So let's see, George ran into that with something. Email is not first opener per device. Some of that maybe, you never know. I mean, but by and large, these stats have been consistent, quite honestly, probably for the last, 16, 17 years. For as long as I've run Google Analytics on here, CAF has pretty much followed that same level of new users coming in that don't stay or come back, and then the same number of the international traffic. So yeah, is anyone in your CAF right now? Wouldn't that be interesting to see how many people are in your CAF on a daily basis? So or at that moment. Sorry, I'm just reading through these again, but and Chris, I don't believe that for 1 second, but it may be true if it was. No, I'm not even going to think about it. See, even Ruben's in tears now. But yeah, so there you go. CAF has so much more potential than we're realizing with it. And again, we need to do better. I want to do better, and I think this is the year to do it. We really, we've kind of learned a lot about what to do here on the live streams, and we need to kind of circle back to CAF and find ways to make these things work better for all of us, and certainly for the people who are coming to the site. One, that's right, Rick Welch, one watcher in Antarctica. But all right, so I didn't really have a whole lot to talk about. No new videos to show this week. I can tell you, I plugged in all the shows and everything again. It's probably worth a quick reminder on a couple things. Of course, the Hakes auction starting next week. Comic Connect's auction begins, I think, on Monday. I don't know, or maybe it's Sunday. I think when I was on his site earlier, it said 3 days, but that could mean Monday morning. I think Hakes starts on Wednesday, maybe Tuesday. But they are having that art gathering in Rome, which is this weekend. And I did email with Max, and I asked him, if he wouldn't mind, and if he, got permission, that he could take some photographs and shoot some video during the meetup that they're having. I think they have room for 40 or 50 people, and they're doing it as a weekend hangout to talk about the hobby as it more relates to European art. But I asked him if he would do it, and he said that he would definitely send me some photographs and some video clips. So hopefully next week we'll be looking at some imagery from this big get together in Rome. And just a reminder on all the other shows that are of note, comic art wise. And of course, it's not a full list. I know that I've got to work a few more in here, but of course, Bashara's show coming up. Then we've got the Wicked Comic Con in Boston that Colin's working diligently for, and I got some ads on CAF for them just recently. That's on the 9th of April. Comic Art Con, of course, April 23rd. Then Lake Como, May 13th and 15th. MegaCon, where I will be doing a panel on the 20th, May 20th. I don't know what time, probably early in the day on that Friday, because then the following weekend, May 21st, well, the same weekend, 21st and 22nd, I will be hosting the 5th Comic Art Live show on CAF, which is going to, like I say, I'm starting early on this one. I'm going to take Marcus up on his he's always told me I should advertise that show more. So that was why I want to get a big jump start on the show this year, so we can actually see an increase in attendance. And also I hope to, even see a little bit more art added if we can, because if we can never get the art to a point, where I think we're right now, around 4,800 pieces of art. If we can get just a little bit more there, I think that we can maybe start doing things like a preview night and opening the hall up a little bit earlier to our premium members in some fashion, rather than just giving the premium members a 2-hour window. So I think we're going to learn about a lot, I think, on this next show. And then I'd like to think we're going to do some interesting changes for the November 2022 show. And then finally, of course, the big happening of the season, probably bigger than New York, even bigger than San Diego Comic-Con, will be the Heroes Convention, where 50, 60 comic art collectors for certain are going to be there hanging out. And there's going to be some kind of a fun preview night there on Thursday. I don't believe we've got all the particulars lined up yet and figured out, but I'll be there, and I know many of you will as well. So it's going to be the show to end all shows, and I can't wait to see everybody. And I hope that we get a bigger turnout. I actually had a couple people email me after mentioning this last week, telling me that they were going to try to go to that show as well. I mean, even if you can't make the Thursday night get together that we're going to have, I do hope that you can make it. I will definitely be there through Sunday morning. So I'll be there Thursday through Sunday. Look forward to getting to hang out with many of you at that show. And again, it's going to be a very, very good time. So yeah, the concert. Exactly, Marcus. It's going to be, let's see, notification not for live. Yeah, Christopher, that's one thing that notifications for likes and thumbs up. I've debated that. What I was thinking of doing, rather than doing it every time it happened, was almost doing like a summary in the morning. Like this is the activity on your CAF gallery the day before. Maybe, the number of comments, the number of likes, on your art, and maybe the number of likes on comments. Doing something as a summary on a daily basis or weekly, I don't know, but not an as it happens. I guess you could. I know that people love push notifications these days, and I know a lot of sites like to make themselves sticky by pushing out notices whenever anything happens. But I was thinking, I've always kind of felt like a daily or weekly email that covered some statistical data about your CAF gallery and people's interest in either your comments or your artwork would be a wise thing to do, since we don't do any of that, right? We provide some statistics on the site for you through the dashboard, but we don't provide you with any kind of a daily thing. I think that would be good. It would, I miss comments on some of my stuff. I don't see all the emails that I get when I get a comment. And if you saw my CAF, I don't look at the likes too often either. But if I got it in my email, I might kind of consider it and look at it a little bit more. Oh, Dino, first time going to Heroes. All right. See, I looking forward to getting to hang out, and Chris Snork as well. Man, we're gonna have a good time at Heroes. Eric, all right, Fish, if you got to try to make it, man. And Mikhail. This is really going to be a good show. I do hope everybody can make it, but you will get to live vicariously. We'll try to, I mean, maybe I can even figure out if we could do like a live stream from the show. I don't know if that's possible or if the heroes would frown on that. Maybe I should reach out to them and see what they, maybe I have to get a press pass or something, but I'll, Jeff Dunn will be there as well. Jeff, make sure you take a picture of that trophy when you set it up, if you got it yet. Everybody's putting peer pressure on Fish now. So, all right. So, but that's where those things are at. I will think about at least a daily might just be a lot, right? I mean, if it might be something where you can either opt into the daily or the weekly and people can pick and choose which one they'd rather get. But I'll have to talk with Maureen. Yeah, I can body cam it, Octavio. I'll talk with Maureen about it because it's something that I've thought about a lot. And interestingly, we might, one of the awards that Mikhail wanted me to do, and Mikhail, you're out there, so you know this too, was about views over the course of a year. Like whose gallery got the most impressions or views on their artwork in a year. And the thing is, we couldn't tell you that. We can't tell you that. And that's because impression data, CAF, as you saw, there's, we literally are getting, 150,000 views on artworks on CAF in a day. If we were literally going to store all that data daily over time, that's a lot of data and a lot of data that you're not going to use. So what we have done on CAF as it relates to viewing artwork data is we store it for 30 days because, I think if you've seen a few places on CAF, that's how we signify when something's getting a lot of comments in a week or over a month. So we store, our views. I should stick to the views. Getting viewed the most. I think we have a week, 2 weeks, and then a month. But we don't store that data over a month because that's the only places we use it. And again, I think storing that much impression data over a year. I mean, maybe today it doesn't matter. Back in the day when SQL wasn't as great and our servers weren't as fast, there was just, if you tried crunching numbers on a whole year's worth of impression data, it just was going to bring SQL to a grinding halt. It might be something we could look into and maybe gradually expand out and see maybe we could keep the data for a year. But that's something that, but all I was really getting at was that, say we did send out a weekly, like a stats email, talked about comments on your art, likes, and we could actually report on the most viewed art in your CAF gallery for that week because we store that data. So something to think about. I mean, I think, again, if I could make it useful and people thought it was fun to see that kind of data, I would probably do it. And then maybe we could even integrate it into CAF where you could just pull it up whenever you wanted. So people who post art on sale have the highest views. That's probably true, Marcus. And we try our best. Like, it still happens, but like my rule to Colin was never feature art that people have posted to CAF that's for sale. I don't want anybody ever thinking that we're using the daily email as a means of promoting art for sale, but it happens. I mean, sometimes it just, you don't notice that say a non-premium member actually put a price in in the price field. So it does happen, but we don't do it intentionally because I never want anybody to think that, we're out there trying to promote art for sale for any one collector. Cause then, oh man, the avalanche of requests we have feature my art tomorrow, would be overwhelming. So, boy, but they are really putting the pressure on Fish. Without Fish, they'll rename it the Not Really Heroes Con. So yeah, Chris says I don't pick art for the show that has a price on it. Okay, see, Chris, and I didn't even give you that instruction. I actually have a few times, and I don't mean to. I like looking at good art, and I've seen it, and then I don't. But then I tried not to say anything to anybody that that's for sale too. But marginally bald guys 2022. I'm getting there too, everybody. Trust me. It looks like I've got a lot here, but at 53, I'm discovering, that I'm not long for this long hair thing. I'm going to probably, in 10 years, I'll be looking more like Ben Franklin than Billigan. So I don't know where I'll be at that point, but I'll be joining that club soon enough. Zeros Con. So, all right. So there you have it. We're going to have a good time at Heroes, and I like all these. We should have a spitball session. At least every other show with throwing these kind of ideas and thoughts around because I like it. These were all good and things that I've thought about too at times. And then, but I don't if it doesn't make it to the cork board in the other room on our task list of things that I've got for Maureen, or the or us for the Dueling Dealers memes and that sort of thing, then it never gets done. So yes, we will. Now it's time for art time. Let's get on to the why we were here to begin with, to see the CAF update. And I know I've got Chris Snork on tonight, of course. He'll be joining me in the green room here momentarily. But why don't I get myself prepped here before we get too far along, and I'm tripping over myself. Stop that screen there. All right, I just got this window here. So of course, the period that we're talking about this week is between February 7th and the 13th. And it's funny, when I was looking at the art that I was going to pick, and I hate this too, because I'll always stumble on artwork that was added, say on the 6th, or the day, that Sunday, which is the cutoff date, that I didn't see when I was pulling my list together. And I actually set a piece of art aside. So when I'm done with my list, I'm going to show one extra piece of art, because I was like, dang, if I would have seen that artwork, I would have featured it last week. But I try to be pretty strict and only pick artworks that fall within the given time frame, and not deviate from that, even when I should. But so we always start everything off with the dealers. So we're going to talk about the dealer report. And dealers had an off week. They only sold $316,000 in comic art. It's kind of hard to imagine. They had 2 consecutive weeks where they were sitting right at 400,000. It was 401,000 the week before. So it technically an off week, but again, I really should run these. I've got to run some reports to kind of look at the stats, because I swear this time last year, an average month for the dealers that we track would have probably been around 240 to 250. And I think consistently since the beginning of the year, we've been, definitely been over 300 most of the time. And as I mentioned, 2 consecutive weeks prior to this, over 400. So, it's a solid time for dealers selling their artwork. So let me show you. Oh no, before I even show you here, of that 316, who sold the most? It was Mr. Berkey. He sold almost 40 artworks for $103,000. Felix was next, 90 sales, 83,000. He had the O'Malley drop, which probably made up quite a bit of that. Anthony again. Hey, Anthony did not get a top number in overall sales. He had 80 sales to Felix's 90, and he sold $37,500 in art. Will next with $21,000 in art. What do we got next? IX Gallery. They, I host their site as well, and follow their art sales. He had 4 sales, 18,000 as well. Then Albert next with 15, and Quan with 1 sale and $15,000 for that 1 sale. And we'll see that piece in a minute. And this piece was actually featured by Chris as well. So we're going to see it twice tonight. So let me show you the top 6 sales from original art dealers. And you're right, that does sound about right, Chris? I mean, we've all been watching these figures for a while. I've really got to do that year-over-year report soon, or we're going to lose some data, and I won't be able to get back to it. So hopefully, what I'll plan on doing for the next CAF update is at least putting together a 10-minute segment that has year-over-year data from 2020 to compare it to 2021, and I think that'll be really interesting. I'll look at dealer sales, auction house sales, price, average price per sale, and because we really, I think it'll be very illuminating to see where those numbers wind up, and I will prepare that report for next week, I promise. So here we go. Let me show you the top 6 sales from the original art dealers. So again, $316,000 in sales. First piece is this unpublished but a fully finished Avengers 37 cover by Don Heck, was sold by Mr. Berkey for the asking price of $28,000. And next up, another Berkey sale. This is one of those British magazine, Amazing Spider-Man 121 covers. It was published, I think, 3 years after 121. So this is, and it's also by Dave Hunt and Frank Giacoya. This was poster art, Scott Pilgrim poster art by Brian Lee O'Malley, sold by Felix for $15,000. Part of that big sale last week that sold out rather quickly. And here was Quan's sale, his 1 sale of the week for $15,000 of an asking price was sold. Well, we don't know. Well, we do. We're going to know who it was sold to, but the art is by Olivier Coipel. This was a Vader Down #1 cover. And 2 more to go. Wallywood piece here from Astonishing Tales, issue 4, page 2, sold by Albert for $12,000. We've seen a few pages from this book, and they're all great. And this is by John Byrne, Joe Rubenstein. from Captain America 249, page 23 from 1980. And this one sold by Will for $7,500. And I'll be completely honest, I'm a little confused because I was actually holding that artwork this past weekend. I think when I was over at Mike's, we were doing some, he was showing off some different collections and things. So I don't know how Mike has it. I don't believe he bought it from Will. Who knows how these things work anymore, right? But but he had got it in a deal. He had gotten, I don't know what he did, but he bought somebody's whole collection or something. So he had 40 pieces of art, and that piece was in it. So I don't know. I know that Mike has consigned things to Will when he's got, it's like everybody, like a lot of dealers do, as you know. I mean, or you don't know, is like if Mike's got something, he doesn't know he has any buyers for it. Will, he knows more burn buyers or Glenn or whatever. They'll sometimes be like, all right, you sell it. I'll send it to you, sell it, and you keep a commission. So that stuff happens all the time. I mean, it's just kind of how things go, right? You have as a dealer, you tend to have your clientele. What they buy. And I mean, Ruben would probably attest to this too. It's just like sometimes who a buyer would be for something, and if you can help facilitate a sale, why not step in and say, hey, I'll take a cut for that. And I'm not saying that happened on that piece, but it's just weird. Mike was like, oh, you got to see this great John Byrne page that I got. And I'm thinking X-Men. And he hands me that one. I'm like, well, it's really nice. I love that cap image in the last panel there. Very, very much so. But the Coipel was awesome, Octavio. I completely agree. So there you go. So that's that's how the dealers roll, and I think that's probably we as collectors roll too, right? You're always looking for the right buyer for the piece to achieve maximum potential for it. So all right, let's take a look at the auction houses. Auction houses actually had an up week. $312,000 this week compared to $230,000 the prior week. This past week, eBay sold $160,000 worth of art. 19 of those pieces exceeded $1,000. I've got a very interesting first piece to show you, and we'll talk about that after we show the 6 pieces in total. Heritage had 168 lots close in their weekly auction for a total of $151,000. So just a little south of what eBay had, but they had 38 of their artworks sell for more than $1,000. So definitely some better material in Heritage weekly auctions. I mean, that's probably about 30,000. That's about 25% above normal rate for them to typically get from their weekly auction with the original comic art. So the Cabal strikes again. I have no idea, but I'm just saying how things work around here. I mean, it's how the hobby gets by, right? And how oh yes, the Cabal. I'm part of the Cabal somehow. I've been whatever. I don't mind. But all right, so let me show you these 6 pieces. First 3 from eBay, next 3 from Heritage, and we'll talk about the one that's the number 1 from eBay that I think some people will remember seeing on eBay that last week. So here we go. Let's take a look at these. So again, 312,000. It's not completely accurate because, of course, this first piece is the Mark Bagley Amazing Spider-Man 374 title page that sold for $6,400. I saw a hem, or said a hem in there because we'll talk about that when we're done here. Next up, Ryan Sook Vision number 1 variant cover. This one sold on eBay for $4,500. Now, the final piece was a best offer. I did not have a chance to look it up to see what it actually sold for. This was from Transformers issue 6, page 12 by Alan Kupperberg, sorry. And the asking price that it is not accurate was $3,000. It had a best offer. I do not know where it ended up. So the top 3 Heritage sales, number 1 was this awesome Tim Sale Batman Dark Victory page from issue 8, page 17, sold for $17,400. And honestly, I mean, worth every penny with that page. Every panel was great. Next up, an Alex Toth illustration. I didn't read what it was from or if it was published, but the final price on this one was $7,200. Really interesting piece by Toth there. And finally, this Brave and the Bold issue 43, page 6 by Joe Kubert, sold for $6,600. So the Bagley Amazing Spider-Man. Now, I really wasn't following eBay. I don't really follow eBay too closely, anyway. But fortunately, Colin does a lot of that work for me, and so I really don't pay too close attention to it. But I know that people had been talking about the Bagley piece from some of the chat groups that I was in. And let's see. So Bagley didn't sell. He shilled his own auction and got stuck with it. So he then posted on CAF a few days ago. And he actually posted it back on eBay too for sale for $8,000 this time. So I don't know. I think it's buy it now. But yeah, if you search for that that piece, you will find it back on there. But how did I find out about any of it? Was that somebody, somebody who I never, I get emails randomly all the time, but man, I got this hate email. It wasn't a hate email, a very loudly written email about the seller and how they had all these zero bid buyers, push the price up to that. And it was kind of ridiculous because it looked like the last legitimate bidder was around $2,400. So for this guy to create 2 or 3 shill accounts to bid it up to $6,400 is ridiculous. But hey, you want to pay eBay their 10% and then hold on to the art. I mean, that's talking. You're shooting yourself in the foot when you do dumb things like that. So if that's your hope, don't list your stuff at auction. Put it at a fixed price you're happy to get. And if you don't sell, then you didn't lose anything. But doing an auction format and then shill bidding against yourself or having your friends do it, however you want to look at it, is never a wise thing to do. So was it 1,500 from the third? Okay, thank you, everybody. I didn't look that close. I wanted to see all the zero bid bidders, and so I just kind of glanced at that and saw that the last 7 or 8 bids were all from the from the zero bid users that were out there. So tell it like it is. It's true. I mean, come on, people. It's just not worth it. I mean, it's especially at that rate for him to have to spend that much money. He could have stopped at 1,600, right? And he would have only paid $160. But no, he had to push it all the way up to $6,400 and pay $640 4 times. I mean, if you're gonna do it, at least be smart about it. I hope he's not watching, whoever it is. So let's see. Somebody trying to sell fake Tim art on man. Well, that's the problem. We've talked about that a lot. About eBay being a problem, social media being a problem with a lot of the fake art out there too. I mean, we could talk about that for days, but that's why and where. I think eventually, one day, I know that NSN tried it. I really do think there will be an escrow service out there someday that validates art. That gets the money, gets the art, from buyer and seller, validates the art, makes sure it's not a fake. When needed at a cost and sends along. I mean, there's at some point, I swear somebody's going to do that and they're going to come up with the right model for it. And it's going to work really well because, this hobby kind of needs it. And I think that, as things get more and more costly, a service like that will actually work. It's not going to be me. I'm not going to get involved with it, but somebody will, and they'll do it well. So, and the prints are getting out of hand. Yep. There's sorry, I do miss a lot of these comments. Shillers think they're smarter than the average user. Yeah, I would agree, Ruben. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's a naive approach to selling one's artwork. So, and very disappointing. And all right, but hey, I've got Chris Snork waiting in the green room, and we're going to talk about Canadian things. Well, who knows what we're going to talk about, but I know we're going to be talking about art. So let me get Chris in here. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
Oh man, I'm feeling so much better. It's been a great day. You saw earlier, I got the mini golf is signed. It's signed. It's almost sealed, and then it needs to get delivered. But we are so close to having that off of our task list every year. I can't tell you how excited I am to finally be moving on.
I can see it. You're vivacious tonight.
Man, I am. Well, I've had a couple Cokes too. That helped. I found I now know that is the thing that kind of gets me going. If I'm feeling down, a Coca-Cola, is the thing for me. But I tried a cup of tea like an hour ago. It didn't work. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Let's see. What Canadian things usually don't happen until the 3rd date. Samuel Rojas. Well, maybe Samuel knows.
It was more of a comment about what went on between. And I'm not insinuating anything. What went on between Ryan Sherwood and McHale to get that Lobo cover to go down. So
I understand. Okay. Yes, Coke. Yeah, there you go. Heart saying I'm coked out. But so I answered your question. I'm sorry I wasn't able to email you. I mean, this whole day was crazy, but I mean, I think putting a negative keyword in there wouldn't be a bad thing to add, really. And I know we use it somewhere. Not really. I think we actually use it in market data for some reason, and I have no idea why I would have put it in there. I mean, there must have been a good reason for. I can't even remember why. I mean,
For me, it's Thing and Kirby. So if you put in Kirby, you might get like JJ Kirby or Javon Kirby or whatever he was, which is not often. But Swamp Thing is all day, every day. I'm getting Swamp Thing notifications. So just a curiosity for me.
yeah, and it is. It's in the market data, and it's not even in the overall site search. So I don't know why. I think one day when we were trying and thinking of it as research, that research needed the opportunity to exclude keywords, and so when we were looking at market data, we added it there. I don't really know why we never included it anywhere else. So I know we can do it. I mean, it's definitely a possibility, and I can only imagine how helpful that would be for a lot of people. Because I've seen, I've analyzed like the keyword lists that people have, and there's definitely a lot of negative results people get with their keywords. Like you're just saying, put Kirby in there, you don't know what you're going to get. And Swamp Thing, yeah, there's a lot of reasons to have a negative keyword set too. So yep, I've added that to the question list for Maureen. We will we'll work that out. But so why don't we look at some art? I got to queue up your set for this week. You did take, as always, a few of the pieces that I would have chosen, but that's all right.
I left a few too.
You did. You really did. I do appreciate that. Let's see here. Pick that one. And yeah, I'm set on the first one. So, all right, let me move a few things around here. So, all right, so we got an Art Adams in Jeffrey Dunn's collection. Jeff, I think you're still here with us. Get that like on there for you. So why did you pick this one, Chris?
Well, partially because Cam kind of got me fired up on his interview about how cool this Ragnarok Thor is from Simonson. So I thought it was really cool to see. So this is Art Adams, obviously, and he went out of his way, particularly if you look at the metal on the armor. Those are Simonson inks, right?
Right.
So to see him kind of do a pastiche of Simonson in honor was so cool to me. There's been a boatload of really, really good Art Adams stuff posted. Next week, for sure, I'm going to have an Art Adams piece because I've already seen it. But yeah, this is just, I love this. It's excellent.
No, it's beautiful. And I thought the same thing when I saw it. It's clearly, he's riffing on Simonson's here, art style here, but yeah, it's clearly Art Adams when you see it. But I love that fun approach. Giving a little tip of the hat to Simonson at the same time. I wish that the scan was bigger. Jeff, get a bigger image here. This thing, I'd love to see this in a lot more detail. I can't click on it, but no, that's really nice and a great pick. 9x12.
Ruben actually said he thought it was Simonson. So that's even kind of cooler.
Yeah. Oh, here and Mickey had a solution to your problem, right? He said that you should just start collecting Swamp Thing, and your problem would be solved.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, yeah. Well, we can't blame. Yeah, it's a CAF shortcoming. We will work on that. All right, and another one. We don't have a big scan on this one either, but this is from the 1 Minute Later CAF Gallery, Gil Kane, Son of Satan cover.
Yeah, so you wouldn't know this from my CAF gallery, but I'm a huge Green Lantern fan, and I think if you're a huge Green Lantern fan, you're also a huge fan of Gil Kane. So I like Gil Kane a great deal, and I also really like Son of Satan. So this is like a nostalgia pick for me more than anything. I also don't know why I like Son of Satan, but I attribute it to, so Defenders was one of the books that was readily available when I was a kid that was in the drugstore. Mm-hmm. So I could reliably get Defenders, Iron Man, and like Avengers. So I read a lot of those when I was a kid, and probably because his name was Son of Satan and he seemed like such a badass, I was like, ooh, Son of Satan, like that's my guy. So yeah, this is definitely a nostalgia pick.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I actually did not read Son of Satan at all. I hate to say it, so I don't have any background on the character, but I love Gil Kane's style, and I like this cover a lot. I saw it when it got posted. So again, I love it's that period of Marvel covers that I don't know, they were always over the top in fun ways. And yeah, this is a really good example from that period. And I like it. It's back, it's kind of like the, the dark seed or side cover, with the hands, the characters in the fist. I mean, this is just a really fun cover. And I don't need to know the story to be like, yep, if I was into Satan and the son of Satan in particular, I would be picking this thing up.
I've heard some funny stories over the years about the histrionics that Marvel would have to go through to so you notice the figures are covering up the pentagram tattoo on his chest, or the brand that's on his chest of a pentagram. And the histrionics that they had to go through to have this guy appear in comics and be approved by the code.
Yeah, that's probably true. See, that's so much work. You would wonder why they would even go ahead. It'll be like, nah, we're just not going to do it. No son of Satan will ever grace our books.
Yep.
Well, yes, as Rick just said, the church lady would not approve. And Ruben said he always preferred Kane to Romita. That's he said it. He said it. I believe it.
Bold stance.
Yeah. See, we could have that would be another fun topic for us to have. We're gonna have that X-Men artist topic, but I think picking favorites on certain characters and titles and artists would be another fun
that could be a really awesome recurring show. I agree. And maybe Fish could moderate.
That's I've always said Fish needs his own show on the channel. That actually would be a month. I could see a monthly show centered around that, and I think we could. That he would get a lot of input on who to, which artists and which titles you might want to talk about.
Just never invite Mike to talk about Spider-Man or Romita.
No. He will never ever be on one of those shows. So I limit his exposure on the channel as much as possible anymore. He was fun for that first year. Glenn and Will were fun for that first year, but now we're kind of shifted gears and in a more comfortable place for all of us. I think he's best suited to be on the Dueling Dealers. But all right, so sorry, we were looking at this piece and we haven't talked about it. So Lee Weeks, of course, but really nice Daredevil illustration and collection of SA. All right.
Oh wait, ML has the best name for the show. Fish fight.
The fish fight. Yes, exactly. I love it. All right. I'm going to email with Fish after the show. We've got to work this out.
That's lightning in a bottle.
It is. I'm making this one in all caps on its page all its own.
Corkboard.
Oh man. All right. I'm sold. I am sold. We're going to do it. See, I think Fish is not here now, or he'd be commenting. So
I think he would too. Okay, sorry. Yeah, Lee Weeks. So huge fan of Lee Weeks. I think everybody knows he comes from the Kubert school. Sometimes you see Kubert more, in his stuff than others. This one, I would argue, is actually this is just Lee Weeks, the whole deal on display. So the awesome chiaroscuro work that he has going on here. So, ton of big range of values. It's kind of loose. I'm guessing it's a con sketch. I didn't really look at the description, but his Daredevil in particular, he's just got some characters where he really knocks it out of the park. Daredevil and Batman for me are the two I think that he probably does best. I had an interesting conversation with him at Chicago quite a few years ago, where he talked about how he models all the different characters and sort of based on their function. So he was Daredevil to me is like an acrobat. So I use acrobat reference photos when I draw him and things like that. So just cool. So big respect for Lee Weeks and cool to see him take on a character that I think he's really one of the best at.
No, it's a really nice piece, nice dry brush work on here. You're right. It looks more like a convention sketch because it is so loose, and sort of as it looked, it's more finished when you look at the face, and then you kind of scroll down and you realize, well, he was pretty quick through here, as far as laying things down. So yeah, I'm curious too. It's just listed as illustration, no description, so we don't get to know what it was done for. But yeah, I mean, you would think more of a con sketch. Got my all right. Alessandro Maselli?
Maselli, I think. I don't think we've had Maselli on the show before, so
No.
part of the reason I picked this, really though, I love DKR like so many people do. So if I get a chance to see like a big hulking Batman like this, that's a favorite thing of mine. We talked a lot about Copics and marker tonal pieces in the past, so this is a great example of that certainly.
Mhm.
Which is always, especially in something small format like this, I feel like can do so much. Just sets an atmosphere, and I guess more than anything for me, this is like the weight. So the weight of this figure is really tremendous and like anchors the whole piece.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic, and I'm really not familiar with Alessandro's work either. I'm just kind of curious how much is on CAF. Wow, there's a lot of art by them on CAF. All right. Huh. All
I
right.
think he does. I think he does like fairly regular commissions.
Oh, I'm gonna save this tab. I'm gonna move it over here so I can look at it after the show. No, it's a beautiful piece. And let's see. Fred and Danny Chong, February 22. A new CAF gallery owner from Panama. All right.
Yeah, I've seen they posted quite a bit of stuff, and there's been there was another couple that's been posting a lot lately, and I'm spacing on the name of the gallery owner. So
Oh, yeah, they went premium like the day after they started the
Puckett?
gallery. I think you're right. I'd have to go double check, but
Yeah.
they were
Anyway,
posting a lot, and they sent me a really nice email when they went premium too, saying that they were
Cool.
really enjoying the site and the interaction with collectors. So yeah, it's a good thing. I always enjoy seeing that. But no, I actually had not seen the Fred and Danny collection until this one. All right.
well, welcome to CAF.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's see what we got here. This is in Chad Garrett's collection. Mahmoud Asrar.
Asrar, yeah. He's been posting a ton of paintings lately, and they've been tremendous. But I haven't known him as a painter until very recently. I'm much more familiar with this kind of stuff. So he to me, full disclosure, I bought a Conan piece from his rep recently just because of the art. I don't collect Conan. I don't have any other Conan art in my collection.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that this guy is a generational Conan artist. He's working on King Conan right now, this is from, obviously. But yeah, I just love his figural work. I think his art is clean, but it's really interesting. And I think from a technical perspective, he's a terrific draftsman, and he has a great sense of like composition for sure, because that, sort of ghostly figure in the background, I don't know who that is, Kulangath or something, but is just great. It really sets off the figures that are in the foreground.
No, it's really well done. I want to kind of look at it and I like zooming in, but it's hard to see like the overall image. The impact of it. No, it's a great composition's great. Characters are well done.
Ruben, you might be right about that. He may print the gray and then ink. I'm not sure about the process. It has that look, but I know from personal experience that these are not mono prints. I have an original, so.
So you think you might actually print that out beforehand?
I think I think what Ruben's talking about is the gray that's in the ghostly figure.
Yeah.
It has a zipatone look to it, like it's scratched away in parts too.
Sure.
But I have seen where some artists will print that tone onto the board and then they'll ink.
Okay. I have not seen that before. If you ever have a piece of your own or in hand, take some close-ups for me. I'm just curious what that actually looks like. It's hard to tell. At first, I thought it must have been zipatone because it's too consistent, to be anything else. But
it could be. I obviously haven't seen the piece in person. Wish I could.
Yeah, no description on this one either, so we will not know. All right, well, nice.
It's funny you say that because I've started a new thing this week. If somebody doesn't have a description and I really like the art, I'm like either posting a comment and asking for information about the piece, or like I've messaged a couple people now and said, can you tell me more about this? So
that's a good idea. So you're spurring conversation, Chris.
Trying.
What's the response rate? About 50%?
Good. No, really good. 100% so far.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's gone back and like added comments or, information, but I got what I needed.
Let's see. Juan Luis Gomez's collection, The Superman versus Aliens 3, page 4 by Jurgens and Nolan.
I picked this one because these two guys worked together actually quite a bit during this period, but I feel like Jurgens and Nolan is not a like marquee combination of penciler and inker. Maybe because what you wind up with is it looks like Kevin Nolan did the whole thing, which I think is a criticism of him that a lot of people have, which I don't personally find fault with because I think Kevin Nolan's amazing. Just really love this page, love that bottom panel in particular with the alien in the background. Cool. I try to pick a sequential piece, at least one every week, so this fit that bill too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just trying to highlight an artistic combo that I feel like hasn't gotten paid a lot of attention.
No, it's really nice. I like the the lack of a panel, I guess, for here, and using the background to kind of frame that the structure for the page. I think that's really nice. And I see what you mean. A little bit heavy Nolan. I don't see a lot of Jurgens in it, and in my own, but Nolan's great. I mean, so you're right. You can't be disappointed. Or you shouldn't feel disappointed by that. But I've actually not read too many criticisms of Nolan. But I guess seeing this, I could say, well, I guess I might understand why that they might say that. But it certainly doesn't. It's a great page. And
yeah, I think this book, in fact, I've seen him actually credited with finishes versus inks, and I think it's partially due to that, like overriding. Again, I'm not complaining. I love it, but I've heard that commentary.
Good pick.
Thank you.
Let's see what we got here. Point blank issue. Colin Wilson and Ed Brubaker. Awesome.
Yeah, so obviously Hart gave you a pretty nice Colin Wilson page last week, so got my brain in Colin Wilson gear, and then coincidentally somebody posted this great Colin Wilson piece this week. So I'm a big admirer of Colin Wilson. You definitely see, even though this is technically I guess a mainstream superhero book in the US because these are Wildstorm characters on the page, you kind of wouldn't know it. Unless you really knew what you were looking at. So I think what's cool about this is you're really able to see the Mobius influence. So some people, hopefully a lot of people know, but some might not, that Colin Wilson was handpicked by Mobius to do Blueberry comics. He did an entire, a long stretch of young Blueberry in the UK and in Europe. And I think you see it particularly on that face in the panel right there.
Sure.
You see that Mobius influence.
No, I can see why he would have been selected to do Blueberry for sure. And yeah, this is a beautiful page. I was reading a couple things in the comments too from the prior piece, but yeah, no, I'll be honest. I haven't really looked at a lot of Colin's work before, but after I got that piece, I did do a couple searches on CAF myself and did some more research. But yeah, this is fabulous. Really nice piece. I love the bottom panel a lot as well. Just whatever ghostly thoughts or whatever that might be with the bottle, but yeah, really nicely executed page. And whose CAF gallery was this? Oh, look, they even have details. I didn't even look at that. This is Dr. Fantastic. Yeah, Dr. Fantastic has a pretty darn amazing CAF gallery.
Long time member. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, now there's some detail.
Yeah. So you can see that Zealot there on the right from Wildcats, and I think it's Grifter that's making out with her. So interesting. So side note on this is I commissioned Colin Wilson a long time ago through Royd Burgoyne.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure Royd is still active anymore, but I think that Dr. Fantastic kind of made the same comment in his description. So if anybody out there who's watching knows Royd's whereabouts, tell him to check in.
Yeah, I feel like I want to see something real quick since you mentioned that, because I feel like I've seen Royd out there somewhere, but I think he Let me see here. I feel like I've seen an email or something by him recently. I
hope so. I mean, he was
Either
terrific to deal with.
Yeah, it's either that or I'm not sure now. I feel like I've seen his name, but maybe it was on social media somewhere because I don't see anything in my email. But that that's true. He was so active for a very long time. But
yeah, he repped quite a few people. Nicholas Scott, I think,
mhm.
once upon a time. Colin Wilson for sure. I think there were others.
Yep, an old comic art L guy. That is for sure, Marcus. That's why I thought for sure I'd seen something recently with his name on it. But and I think you're correct as well, Rich, that he was in CFA APA for a while. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look around. I don't know where. I swear I saw his name saying he was stop clip. Yeah, I don't remember that, Ruben. Anyway, interesting guy. I mean, was super duper active when I was getting started as a collector. So, and there you go. Dave mentioned that he posted in some Facebook groups. So that's probably maybe that's where I saw it.
Ruben said he posted to Comic Art L that he was stopping collecting. Oh, well, too bad. Okay. Yes, Royd from Australia. That's him.
And there were some other comments earlier too about the last piece, but I missed those unfortunately. But we'll move on because here's that piece that we saw that Quan had sold, and this is in Dan Gallo's CAF gallery. Dan's got an amazing collection. One of the co-founder of the Comic Art Con, of course. So beautiful piece by Coypel.
Yeah, just gorgeous. And I think so I picked this for a few reasons. One is that I think this is just a tremendous use of value. So, black, white, gray, like every tone of gray imaginable is in here, all the way up to top white, all the way up to jet black. And then that, so there's very little color in here, but it's very effective without it. And then you throw that lightsaber in there and it just like blam, that's where your eye goes to immediately. So really cool composition, great design on this piece. It also made me think, and I don't know, I mean, I've seen the Star Wars movies like innumerable times over the years, but it also, for whatever reason, seeing this piece made me realize what a great design choice it was to have the Stormtroopers be white and Vader be black.
Yeah, that's funny. I never really even thought about that before.
Yeah.
I'm not like a giant Star Wars fan, but yeah, that's a really great thought there. I never even would have occurred to me, but yeah, this is great. And you got complimented by Mr. Lawless that you're loving your picks this evening. So
well, thank you, Dan. Appreciate that.
Yeah, love the AT-AT in the background, says West. Yeah, no, I agree. It's a beautiful piece and clearly worth every penny that Dan paid for it. I love Coypel's work, and this is fabulous.
Me too. And, for a guy who I really consider a contemporary artist, it's amazing how many artists who are working today are so clearly influenced by this guy. He made such a huge impact in such a short period of time.
Yep. No, I would agree. And Rich, nice to see you. I know I owe you an email from probably 2 weeks ago. I promise I will reply very soon. It's a busy schedule, but all right. But yeah, no, it's a great pick. I would have picked this one as well, and one of my favorite pieces of the week. And let's see, I got my like on that one. And here I know whose collection this was in. But yeah, this got a lot of love last week, not only on CAF but on social media as well.
This is amazing, and it's just a gimme pick too. I mean, one of us was going to pick this for sure. Otherwise, we've got no business doing this.
Right? Oh no, it was top of my list, and you got it, and I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah, I mean, bravo! Like, if you're even remotely a fan of Miller, like this has got to be in the top 10 pieces that you would ever want to own. So I don't even have anything to say about this. It's too good.
I know it's a piece of history, and it's funny.
Yeah.
When my daughters do the slides for Dueling Dealers, and they were doing the slides yesterday, and they got to that, the final piece that Mike had, which was by Frank Miller, that Wonder Woman image. And they were like, this is, why is this so much money? It's like, I had to try to explain, that Miller doesn't quite draw, like why would, because they were trying to say, well, how could this be $4,500? or somewhere of high value. And I was like, boy, it's Frank Miller. Frank Miller is an incredibly influential artist. You could subtly see some of the style from like this period, or his Daredevil still in his current work when he's putting the effort into it. But it was really hard to kind of help them understand, the differences there, because this is just like, when I think of Frank Miller, this is what I think of.
I love that you went at it though.
I tried. I really did, but
really.
I wished I didn't have any references to show them, because all they had was the Wonder Woman up there, and they're like, the rib cage is like this, and I'm trying to, like, I know, but you'd have to look at his other work to kind of see why he's draws the
why it went like that way,
right? Well, how he got from there to there.
Yep.
And they're like, is he really old? And I'm like, well, he's old, but he's not. That's not why he's drawing like this now, I don't think, But I had promised them that I was going to show them some early Frank Miller work, so that Maureen, because Maureen had the same question. She's like, why is this that? And so yeah, it was funny. And then what was the first thing Mike said when we showed the piece? And I'm sorry to be on a tangent on such a fantastic piece from Nick's collection, but when the artwork came up, Mike's first thing he quoted was, he goes, "This one is just so sexy," and something else. And so I typed that in the chat, because I wasn't on camera. I typed it to Gwen, and she laughed at me. I just said, "That's so sexy," because that was not what she was telling me when we were looking at the art earlier that time. But yeah, Nick, this is I mean, I know Nick is a huge Frank Miller aficionado, collector, and this had to have been like the most amazing experience to pick this piece up and know that it's going to be in your collection permanently. So Nick, my hats off to you. This, I hope one day I get to see some of your collection in person, because you've got an amazing collection. We're going to get to see some of Nick's art that he hasn't even showed on CAF what is it, on the 31st of March. So that'll be fun too. But the stuff that you do show, Nick, is A+, top shelf, and this is an amazing piece added to your CAF collection. Yeah, I'm more than welcome to come over. All right, the invite has been extended.
Oh wow, you got to do that.
I do. I definitely do. Thanks, Nick. All right, so I got my like on that one too, and this one's a lot of activity, a lot of comments here, and on Facebook, I know
it should.
Yeah, no, this was that was pretty historic, and here you go. You picked a Mike Mignola
again,
from Steve Frizzoco's collection, and this one, go ahead, take it away.
Well, I'm not shy about this. Like, if you want me to feature your gallery or your art on CAF, just post Mignola from like 96 to like 2004, and I'll pick it every time. It seems like I'll just pick it every time. This if it's got statuary in it, like, I just can't. Yeah, I only own one Mignola piece. I haven't had it. I've only had it for a few years. I think I got it like right before prices like really exploded on his stuff. But my one regret is it doesn't have a statue in it. So someday I'm looking to upgrade, and this would be the exact type of piece that I would want. This is just unbelievable to me. Tremendous.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I've got a few of those Baltimore pieces now from Mike, but I don't have any Hellboy, and it's tough because there's a lot of Hellboy art out there, a lot of commission kind of pieces and stuff, and while those are really nice to have, and I might be picking one up in a few weeks, it's just not the same as seeing a piece like this, where the modeled quality of his ink washes really is what shines. Like you said, like in his statuary, when he can make pock marks on things. I mean, nobody does it like
pick marks.
Yeah, I mean, nobody does it like him. And you don't, and as much as I love the commission, the smaller commissions with the figures, typically you don't get a lot of that feel to it, which I think really defines Mike's work, at least to me, in his published work. So, even though like I say, I'm probably going to pick up a commission piece by Mike, it's not going to look anything like this, and that'll be my only regret for having it. I'm going to be happy with it, but it's just not going to have that.
No, it's right there. I can see it from here, but yeah, it's not this. This is just, it's another level.
Yeah. No, this is
a jealousy pick. This might be a jealousy pick.
We're allowed to have those.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I hear you. No, but this is a great pick, great piece, and Frizzoco has an amazing collection, of course. So if you've not checked out Steve's CAF gallery, I mean, again, he's been on CAF since January 2005. I mean, so over 16 years on CAF, and just a fantastic collection. So definitely you should spend some time there. I'll get the link to all the artworks we're sharing tonight onto the YouTube page before the end of the show. But it's always on CAF as well. Just go to the YouTube section and you can get over to the list of all the artworks that Chris and I feature and the market report links as well.
So Bill Rubin makes an interesting comment. So he didn't like this because the background was so busy. And I understand the comment for sure. And I guess I do agree with it to some extent, but that's implying that like you really care about Hellboy and not like what's going on in the background. And I think also in color, I don't think you could make that argument because Hellboy's red and, you know, whatever. I think it would set itself apart in color. But I do, yeah, he's not wrong. The composition's a little muddy, but I almost treat some of these pieces that he does for like trade paperback covers and like merchandising and things like that, they're almost like a collage where the individual elements of the piece, like they don't really have anything to do with one another, or they don't necessarily have anything to do with one another. Like he's got the shredded, paper with the right hand of doom drawn on it, like just stuck out there in the middle. And there's like a little crescent moon in there for no reason. I just think that kind of comes with the territory. Yeah.
I mean, I can see what Ruben's saying now as well, but it didn't bother me. I mean, I guess because it just, I don't know, just because I really enjoy it. But when I look at it, I almost view it as a sculpture in a weird way. I've been looking at like a relief piece, and so it doesn't bother me when I look at it to see it feel like that, because it's, I don't know, it's just what I kind of expect from Mike in a weird way. So I don't mind it at all. And I remember I'm lamenting the fact that I'm getting a commission that only has the Hellboy part in it and doesn't have any of the background behind it. So, you know, I'm okay with the approach on this one, but I understand it. I do definitely understand it. See, because you look at it like that, and it's not so bad. When you're looking at it close up, it's definitely a little different.
Did he put the color?
No, well, I was checking to see if it had a next button on it when it was big, and it did not, unfortunately. So, yeah.
I think it'd be a little more forgiven in color.
Right. I mean,
I can't believe we're critiquing Mignola.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, somebody has to. We might as well. We're not licensed to do it or anything, but all right. Well, 10 good picks. So I'm going to do my 10 picks. Time flies when we're talking about it.
Yeah, sorry, it's 10 o'clock already.
That's all right. Let me get my screen switched over here. But no, 10 great picks. And gosh, let me get mine here. Sorry. Once again, too many windows behind the scenes. There you are. Let's see. Get that out of the way. And again, really, I have way too many screens open here. All right, here we go. So Ruben's going to be happy. Ruben, you're always happy, but I did pick out of your collection to get started with here. Let me get my like on it.
This was a busy one. This was a busy one this week.
It was. It really was. And remember, I'm going to show an 11th piece too from the Sunday before that I hadn't seen. But so it's in Ruben's collection. Tom Grummett, Corey Hampshire, and X-Men Forever cover. What I noticed first, I mean, I didn't really look at the background. When I saw the thumbnail, I just saw, all the action lines. I knew there were swords, but again, that's what made me want to look at the piece in more detail, just to see if it was a piece I wanted to feature this week. And I just really, honestly, I love the inking in this because, outside of that little bit of cross hatching on the character, everything is just clearly defined. I mean, I guess you could say a little bit on that window, it might be different, but I just love the line work on it, that it was so straightforward. There wasn't, I like the cross hatching on the character. It helped make it stand out, but I love the backgrounds. I love the flat approach to everything, all that. I love the swords. So I really like the piece. So as much as I love the dynamic of the character and the angle that it's at, I love the background. It made me smile when I looked at it. And, I know that Ruben's a big fan of Grummett's work, and I like Grummett's work too, but this one felt a little different. Maybe it was the approach of Hampshire on this, but again, just a great piece, and I couldn't not pick it just because I loved it so much.
What I like the most about this is that it automatically sets a scene. Like there's no question about where she is. There's no question about who she's fighting. It's just like, okay, she's in Japan and there's a bunch of ninjas. Like that's good storytelling right there.
Yeah, yeah. I agree, and yeah, maybe I picked it because of X. But I honestly, at first, I did not read what the title of the book was. I looked to the art first, and then I looked up, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But no, the art was what sucked me in. I just thought that background's it's just amazing. I love it. So nope, good pick up there for you, Ruben. An awesome addition to your Grummet collection. See, and you picked a Star Wars piece, and I picked a Star Wars piece.
I almost picked this Star Wars piece.
Yep, this is in Kavi's collection. Let me see how nice big scans and everything, but loved it, and just everything about the piece just made me smile. I think that I'm not very familiar with Greg's work, but I think that this was a nice one and a nice pickup for Kavi.
Mm-hmm. I really like the sort of frenetic nature of the top of the piece and the very calm nature of the bottom of the piece. So great job with kind of illustrating Yoda, right? Like he's this serene Jedi master and he's capable of like doing some crazy things with his powers. So I really like the subject here. I'm a fan of Tokini. I actually have a cover right there on the wall from this guy. So the first cover I ever bought was from Greg Tokini direct in person in Chicago, and he barely speaks English, so it was pretty fun.
That's Tokini, huh? That's
the way I say it. I don't know. Hopefully I didn't really insult the guy when I was talking to him.
As long as he kept smiling, that's all that matters. But nope, lovely addition there to that collection. So, yep, good one there. And then I picked up this Gene Colan, Tom Palmer piece because I was always a fan of the storyline between Black Widow and Daredevil. Mm-hmm. I just thought they were, it was this. I don't know. I love the interaction between the two characters, and I really enjoyed the way Gene Colan drew both of them, especially Black Widow. I mean, she was sultry, and you had these two characters that were just swinging around in the city all day. And so, from a storyline perspective, I mean, I guess this is a nostalgia pick for me, but I love the whole layout of this. I mean, I always find it, if I were to try to draw a face like this in a box that size, mm-hmm. It would look like MODOK. You know what I mean?
Is that a celebrity reference, do you think? That because it's really, I mean, it looks like a likeness, right? I mean, a credit to Colan, I guess, is what I'm saying, but that looks like someone, doesn't it?
I mean, it's not ringing any bells for me, but
yeah, me neither. It'd probably be an actress from, back then, if anything.
There you go. Nick mentions Gene killing it on Black Widow, and yep, agree very much. Colan and Palmer, a match made in heaven. Exactly. I picked up a piece from the Doctor Strange run by them both, but again,
Marcus says it's his mom.
What's that? Oh, it's
Marcus says it's his mom.
Of course, Marcus. Raquel Welch. That's a maybe. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. As a young lad reading the stories of Black Widow and Daredevil, it was just they're always just good reads. And I was new to the characters at that time, so I really didn't have a lot of background, and they didn't make sense together. But it seemed, they always seemed it just the stories were fun, and so this for me was a nostalgic pick. But I do love Colan and Palmer together, and I mean these three, the last three panels are just really, really beautiful
awesome.
And dynamic.
Yeah, great page.
Got my like on that one. And Lee Banach, I forgot to mention it was in Lee's collection. Another collection you could spend a lot of time in.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got the Ryan Stegman. And I mean, what more case? You can just look at the image. This is just such a cool piece. Whoops, I got it on the wrong side there. But lots of awesome detail in this. I mean, again, I think it's an incredible piece. And I'm forgetting who had this in their collection. Oh, S. Kelsey. All right. But a variant cover, really, really nice. And I know I couldn't pass it up. There were a lot of other pieces I was thinking about, but for me, I don't think I've picked too many Stegmans in the past. So I thought, as much as we read, about, because Felix does a great job of promoting, I see the name all the time, but I felt like I hadn't really taken the too many opportunities to pick a Stegman piece. So that
Yeah,
was,
I think that's accurate for sure. This is also, I mean, if you're gonna pick a Stegman piece, like this is Ryan Stegman being Ryan Stegman, like all over.
yeah, no, I agree. See, Eric even says Stegman keeps getting better and better. Yep, that is very, very true. Oh man, I love the comments tonight. All right, but yep, I had to pick that one.
Chat's on fire tonight.
And there's the color piece. See the color, it's okay. I like the published art better. We got that. They are on fire. Something got them all fired up tonight for a Thursday. So my next piece was, this really was more of a nostalgic pick, just because I've always been a big Turtles fan, and just having so many characters on a single wraparound cover was pretty cool. This is in James Gallery, but just look at all. I mean, I didn't check the size on this thing, but with all the villains on one, and who doesn't like a good, hero villain square off kind of cover, right? And then, but this one is just ridiculous with the number of characters in there, and I mean,
the background is characters,
right?
Like they're just huge characters.
I mean, from edge to edge, this thing is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is one of those that needs one of those like keys where it's like the silhouette with the number and then
right,
the character's name. Yeah, right. Yep.
But yeah, no, I love this thing, and because when my kids were young, I was always buying I actually have some turtle cells, believe it or not. I bought some Ninja Turtle cells and Sonic cells and some Sonic published artwork. So I was really into trying to get my kids interested in reading comics. So Turtles were one of the things that I kind of gravitated to try to get them interested in. And my youngest daughter actually liked the Turtles quite a bit, but the other two were more Sonic fans. But I tried to get them into this. But really nice image, and let's see. So it's in James collection, and
you're still trying, Bill. I mean, if you were really trying to explain Frank Miller to those girls, you're still trying.
Well, because again, my that was with my oldest daughter, who's going to art school now. With I can't really say what her major's in, but she's doing a lot of different things: animation, 3D work. So she's asking those important, those tough questions now about what makes something good, and I think
you should have her on and do 10 picks one night.
Hey, you know what? That wouldn't be a bad idea. I could maybe have her go through. I mean, that would be an interesting perspective, wouldn't it? I mean, because she has grown up on comics and comic art. I mean, quite literally, being with me. She's been homeschooled the longest for all my children. I think since she's 19 now, and she was homeschooled from 6th grade onward. So that was quite a lot of time to be sitting in the next room for all this time with CAF and everything. So yeah, that might be fun. Maybe not
the perspective of somebody who's like actively currently in art education,
right? So and I didn't mention the artist Ozzy Fernandez and Tony Cordos as the inker on this, and I didn't even look at what the published cover looked like. I'm kind of curious. Still,
no, it's better without the color.
Yeah,
it's so dark.
I know. Look at this one. I don't know what the difference between the two was, but this one's at least a little bit brighter.
Maybe that's a print.
Huh, I don't know. Yeah, that one's definitely the cover. Colored print. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You were right.
Yeah.
Oh, and pencils
Paper
on a separate board.
A lot.
See, I only looked at the ink piece, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I actually maybe even like the pencils better.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
It's nice. Yeah, I don't mind getting pencils and inks on separate pages, as long as the blue line thing still gets me, but and I know it shouldn't, but I kind of like being able to have pencils and inks. And I've seen a lot of the Walking Dead artwork with by Charlie Adlard in pencils, or Paulo Rivera and Joe Rivera. I have no issues getting pencils and inks on separate boards. So let's see. And then, I don't know, this was an easy pick. Long Halloween Page by Tim Sale. I mean, I almost don't even need to say anything other than it's just great storytelling.
Practically a cover.
Right. Well, at first when I saw it as a thumbnail, I thought, is it a cover? And then of course I got into it and I realized it wasn't. But I mean, just everything about this thing is it's just perfect. It breathes Tim Sale, and I couldn't not pick it. And and again, I'm not everybody knows I'm not a DC fan, but good storytelling and great art. I mean, look at all those bricks. You can say that, but yeah, nope, just an easy pick for me. I figured everybody probably, at least who saw this, would have left a like or a comment on this on CAF. So yeah, just a great addition to CAF. And I missed who owns this piece. Oh, Stephen F. All right, there you go. Another great CAF gallery out there from a long time CAF member.
This is I think this is like peak period Tim Sale.
Mm-hmm. Oh, love it. But I gotta like it now too, right there. All right, so we got what, 4 of my picks left. So this was the image I used on the show thumbnail. Haven't liked it yet. Johnny McCloskey's CAF gallery. It was an unused Catwoman cover. He joked that maybe it was unused because it was just too darn busy. The artist is Gary Brown. And I saw this as a thumbnail and I knew I loved it. I didn't even, again, I tend to not read titles or who owns it or anything before I get to the detail and look at the art. And well, good. I'd like to think most people approach things that way. You want to look at good art. There's one thing to kind of look at your friend's CAF gallery, but when you're looking at art and you want to check things out, I mean, I kind of look at the art before unless I know the artist. This time I didn't. I'm not really familiar with
half the time. People have probably noticed, like half the time you're like, oh, this is in so and so's gallery. I'm like, oh, it is. I mean, I genuinely, like, for better or for worse, I do not pay attention to who owns these things. I feel bad about it saying that.
Right. Well, but that's good, and that's why I think when Brian's notes about the best of, where he was saying hide the owner's information, I almost don't look. I care, but I don't care. I mean, we're all here because we love the art, and we love the artists, and we love the medium and all that, and it's but it's true. So. But I thought this was cool. I felt like, I don't know how many times I've featured something by Johnny. Some people's pieces get featured a little bit more often than others. And Johnny's in the chat all the time. And so when I saw this, I knew it was one of my favorite pieces added to CAF that week, that I was happy. I'm like, all right, I get to give Johnny some love here. And Johnny actually emailed me a couple weeks ago, and he had asked, he wanted to complete his signed card set of the, from Dueling Dealers. He had got, because Mike and Anthony will put cards in the art. Of course, I haven't given out any Billigan cards except for the people who got the full sets. So he emailed me and he showed me that he had the one of Anthony and Sharon, and then one of Anthony and one of Mike, but none of me. And he was like, I want to complete my set. So it was nice. I sent him a card, and then literally, I think the next day I saw this art on there. So again, this is just, I mean, the detail in the background, for as loose as it is, I mean, it holds up so well. I mean,
so it's got I feel bad saying this too, but I thought this was Daniel Warren Johnson for a minute.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, but it's got kind of a either Daniel, like a little bit of Daniel Warren Johnson, like a little bit of Sienkiewicz. I can also see like there's kind of a Zaffino vibe to this a little bit too, particularly like in the lighting that's in the build in the city. So strong influences for sure. I'm also, unfortunately not too familiar with Gary Brown, but yeah, this is baller to borrow from Foggy.
That is very true. Thank you, Foggy, for coining that. But yeah, very wonderful piece. I get it. Danny, Rich says it's a little too abstract for him. I can understand that.
I get that.
Yeah, I mean, in a weird way, when you see it, maybe colored, it's a little different. It does look a little flat, but again, it didn't bother me. Because you kind of look at the foreground to the background. I mean, a lot of artists might have tried to do things a little bit lighter in the background, keep things a little bit more sharper here with the water tower and whatnot. But I don't mind. I guess I don't know. It didn't
I think it's got. I mean, I think it's got dimensionality. So the lighting washing out like right in front of the figure helps add a little dimensionality for sure.
Sure.
I see that comment. The water tower certainly adds a big foreground element. Abstract is certainly a good comment. I don't know about too abstract for me anyway, but I get that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I got my heart on that one. Congratulations to Johnny for adding that to his CAF. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gallery. And this one was added in West's CAF gal And I know, is it Gillum?
I think it's Guillaume.
Guillaume. I mean, it's that was a name that I've never gotten right, and I even looked online. It's like, how do you pronounce it? And there was like 7 different ways to pronounce it. So Guillaume is the way that.
I mean, I'm not Spanish, or I don't know, but that's the way I pronounced it.
Ruben can probably.
Ruben can tell us for sure. Yes.
Correct us, Ruben. Help
and will tell us.
Yes. So again, West's collection. Of course, West has an amazing collection. If I'm sure many people have seen it. I was fortunate enough to interview West and Dino at the same time. Gosh, it's been over a year now, but Wes has a really great eye. A lot of great art has passed through his hands, and adding this piece is just nice, a nice homage to it. But I mean, look at the detail in that. I wish it was this. Here's another one. I wish the scan was bigger, because I can only imagine the detail that was in the buildings behind them. I mean, even though our focus is on the characters and and whatnot, it's there's so much here. And I loved this the moment I saw it, and I always like a good riff on which this pose has been used before, of course, but we're all kind of drawn to things that that spur an emotion or a reminder of something. So I had to check it out, and I just like it. I kind of like the looseness in the way Batman's been drawn. There's not really, the musculature is a little just. It's just different. It's not like what I would normally expect to see in the way the brushwork is done there. So very really happy for West.
I could not like this more. This is phenomenal. I missed this. I never even saw this. I would have picked this 110%. I love this, and I'm actually, I'm like realizing as I look at it, that's Harley Quinn in the Robin outfit.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I mean, it just, man, this is brilliant.
All right. See, Ruben said you were right. Guillaume.
All right.
Thank you, Ruben. I will not forget that. But no, great addition to your collection there, West.
Good job, West.
All right, so we got 2 more here. I picked a Rob Liefeld.
I knew you would pick this one.
Well, I kind of had to, and I'll be honest. I mean, this is when we have our X-Men art debate and things. I mean, this is like a period where I really wasn't collecting or reading comics at all. I mean, it was kind of vague. It was on the periphery for me, just because I really couldn't afford comics when I was in college, and or when I got out of college. It took me a few years to be able to afford stuff like this. But this to me is Liefeld. This is where people when you think of Liefeld, you think of the pieces like this. And
this is Liefelding.
Yeah. And you got a little bit of Zipatone on there, but everything. I mean, I this last panel is beautiful. I mean, I love this top one. I love, he's breaking the panel with the gun, with the leg. I mean, those are like real subtle touches that just make the page a little bit more dynamic. Just again, compositionally, everything is kind of like drawing you into the center of the page. I mean, I loved everything about it, and but in a weird way, I can't say it's a nostalgic pick, because, like I said, I was not reading comics at that time. I picked up most of these when I got back in to comics around 97, 96, somewhere around in there. I mean, it was a couple of years after I got married where I finally had a few extra dollars, and I could start buying comics again. I was telling Jason earlier, I missed the whole Age of Apocalypse. I had to go back and read all of that, because it was a time period when I just wasn't buying.
That's when I was an X-Men fan. I worked in the comic store, and Age of Apocalypse came out. It was like, oh baby, every week, like just devouring those things when we went back them.
Oh, see, and I missed all that. I mean, it was cool going back and reading them like 3 or 4 years later, but I felt like I really missed out on the impact that those stories had. So feet.
Wenger and Rich both pointing out Liefeld's very clever use of water here.
I know. No, I didn't notice that at first, but I see that now. I didn't enjoy. Yeah, he really stayed away from everyone's feet, didn't he? Hiding Cannonball's feet. Everybody's feet are hidden.
And Lutz too. Yeah, good call out with Hilary Barta on inks here. We're definitely making some improvements, refinements to this stuff.
Yeah, and I didn't. It's funny, Hillary. I didn't know much about Hillary's career. And then we had him on was it the Comic Art Live before last? So that was like one of the first times. I didn't realize how much inking he actually had done and things. So
Yeah.
this was he's a journeyman. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that you're right. In a way, Hillary's work, ink on this probably helped it out a bit. But really, again, really nice piece. And you're right. I wasn't going to not pick this. It's in Bobby L's collection. Now, Bobby L, I don't feel like I've been in Bobby L's collection before. From Canada, another 2020. So only a year plus CAF member. So nice to see a piece like that. Now I've seen the color pieces here too. I want to see. Yeah, that's the coloring from that period.
The paper,
and the paper. Okay, and the
Yeah.
paper too. Wow. I mean, look at how bad the lettering is. Wow.
Why did we even like comics?
I can't imagine. I mean, yeah, you look at that. That is so terrible. Wow. Well, it must have been, I don't know, the stories kept it. Because look at that. I mean, there's like not even any comparison.
I know.
There.
It's barely resembling the other.
All right. Well, that deserved, if I could like it a second time, I would. And you know what? I'm going to leave that window open. I want to check out because he's got an X-Men gallery room that the art's in. So I want to see what other X-Men art Bobby's got. And then my final pick, I'm a big sci-fi fantasy guy, and I love Frank Frazetta. Obviously, we wouldn't have some of the characterizations in sci-fi fantasy today if it wasn't for him. And so saw this piece. He's always been a master of color, and I just love the contrasting colors with the blue and the orange in this one. And I don't need to say much about it other than it's just it's a beautiful masterpiece
it's gorgeous.
And actually I know that the Manarinos had worked a bit with Frazetta. They literally said they wanted to do a show just on Frazetta when we were trying to talk about, like, if we talked about their career, what were the segments of their career that we'd want to put into it, because they said they wanted to do hour-long shows. They didn't want to do 2-hour-long shows. And so one of their hour-long shows that was all about, they wanted to talk about Frazetta. So I'm looking forward to whenever that episode we might get to, because they were there. I mean, it's funny that some of the pictures they sent me for their interview are from setting up around 1980, and I can't remember the name. They had a different name, before they were the auction house. But at any rate, it'll be fun talking about them. But a very lovely piece. I mean, I got nothing more to say about it other than I love it. Tristan Porthole, right now. They've been posting a lot of cool artwork lately. There were a few other pieces. So this is a semi-newer collector too, from November 2020. So I would definitely check, if you haven't run into their CAF gallery yet, check it out, because I'm gonna get my like over here before I go over to their CAF. But yeah, they've been posting some pieces. I mean, Tom Kidd, a lot of these. See, you always know it's a new CAF gallery owner when they start off with one gallery and they put everything in it, because they'll eventually figure it out, and segment things. But the Sin City piece,
that with the hacksaw, that's wow.
Yes, exactly. And
so Nick, no offense, that piece you picked up is awesome, but that, for me, that's the one Sin City piece that I would want to have.
Right, and this was added on the 13th. So this was added on Sunday. It could have made both our lists, and we didn't pick it. So and I didn't pick it because you had picked the other one. I was like, I don't want to do two, but yeah, they added a lot of crazy.
I missed it altogether. Can you click on it?
Yeah,
just
I know you can see it only got 8 comments. I don't know how it got missed as well. I saw it when it got posted, because I saw the name of the collector, and I'm like, I've never seen that name before. And so
it's not like a print or something. It's the art.
It's listed as the cover and the description as well.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I mean, this, you see, they got a lot of Ken Kelly, Bisley. What else you got in here? Boris Vallejo. So definitely, that right there, isn't that? Is that the actual piece, or is that weird color overlay piece? No, that looks. Let's see, Conan poster art.
Now we know. Yeah, okay. Boy, that was a lot of noise was made about that.
Yeah. So yeah. And a big fan of Frank Miller, though, clearly. 50 pieces in here. Carrie Nord.
Love Carrie Nord.
I'm not going to try pronouncing Pedar's last name, but he's really huge in a lot of imaginative realism art circles. I mean, really great painter. Power. So yeah, but I love that. I love seeing new people come to CAF. I like, like a year from now, they're not going to have one gallery room. They'll have figured it out, and they'll separate things by, at least I'd like to think that's where they're going to end up. Maybe I should send them an email.
This is this is begging for an interview, in my opinion, because wow.
I agree, and again, a lot of this stuff was posted in the last couple months too, and I missed it up until this past month. I don't know, lots of things go under the radar when you're so much art's getting posted, but yep, very nice collection. Let's see here. But hey, I wanted to show one piece that I had overlooked the week before. Maybe our show runs so long, we probably shouldn't add more things to our show. But I was just gonna say, we could do a thing where the piece we missed last week, and now I'm getting mad because like I said, I've got so many tabs open, I'm not finding.
Maybe I should just do 5. Maybe that would be the solution.
Oh man, all right. I'm gonna get really angry here if I can't find this piece. Oh, there it is, the last tab to look at. All right, let's see here. Let me stop that screen and share this one. All right, because I was talking once about like the first comic book I ever read, and I don't even know how old I was, but my uncles collected comics, and I remember just finding this beat up copy of Strange Tales, and I remember talking about it, but I never really looked. I never looked back to it. I always just remember that reading it when I was like 6 or 7, and I remember I talked about it, without ever looking in it and researching anything about it about a year ago, saying it was the first comic I ever read. If I ever could own a piece from it, but I had said it was drawn by Steve Ditko because I just thought it was Steve Ditko.
Solid assumption,
right? And so when I saw this, and I think maybe sometime after that I realized it was Marie Severin. Like maybe I'd seen another page from this story, but I talked about these creatures, with the slit for the eye and everything, and the mindless ones, and I said, man, if I ever could own a page from the first book I ever read, it would be from Strange Tales, but I said Steve Ditko. So my mistake, I wanted to correct that mistake, but also point out this piece. I mean, I don't know how I didn't see this piece until I was until Wednesday when I was looking for the art for the show. So somehow this got added to CAF on Sunday night, and I didn't see it until Wednesday. I don't, and I'm at CAF all day. I don't know how I could have missed it. But man, what a for me, this is a nostalgia piece right here, because it's it's really from the first comic I ever read, and Doctor Strange. I've always been a huge Doctor Strange fan, and man, this thing is, I just love everything about it. I mean, and again, mostly from nostalgia, but again, Marie Severin. I mean, a lot of people think well, obviously she did a lot of work in the bullpen. People think of her, when they think of her work, they'll think of not Brand X stuff ahead of that, but she did so much, and so I regret thinking initially that this was done. The book was done by Steve Ditko, but again, just that was, so if I had a pick that I could go back and correct from last week, I would have added this one to my list. So
worth notation for sure. That's an awesome title page.
Yep, and it's in Ron Sonnenthal's collection, who again, I mean, I'm sure everybody's been in Ron's collection. He's just got one heck of a collection of art on CAF. So congratulations.
That's my aspiration, Bill, to be like a Dave Mandel or Ron Sonnenthal, or so when like you say his name on the show, people go, oh yeah, that guy's gallery. Damn.
I know, and it's like and there's always like this collection of people, collectors, that it's always one of them when you get blown away, but knowing that this piece is there, and you're like, oh yeah, all right, that's where it should be, Yeah. And oh, there you go. That's even kind of an interesting observation, Ruben. The mindless one on the left looks like it was drawn.
It does, totally does. The texture.
Absolutely. But yeah, there was something about that. I remember I was actually scared. I mean, I remember because we, reading the books, I was frightened. That was my first experience with comics, was being afraid of these mindless one creatures, because these things that didn't talk, but they could, I don't even remember what they could do. I just remember
they shoot that energy blast out of their eye slit.
It was frightening for me. So yeah, so for me, if I ever own something, that would be just an awesome thing. That would be from something from this book, or even at least with a mindless one on it from that period. I would probably be happy just knowing that I had a little bit of something historical to the first comics I ever read.
I've tried a few times. Mine was an issue of Brave and the Bold where Batman and Nemesis are teamed up, and nobody knows anything about Nemesis. So I was like, maybe people don't want that, but of course it was Jim Aparo, so everybody wants it. So I'll never get a page from it.
True, and yeah, again, Nick's saying, and Marie did the Hulk and Submariner and covers and so much more. As Ruben says, Marie was screwed by sexism. She was far better artist than Tuska and Heck, and that's facts. Hey, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. Tuska and Heck were, they put out a lot of great work, but I know they don't. A lot of people don't hold them in the highest regard. But there's, you never know. But I agree. She toiled away for a very long time, and probably touched a lot more artwork than most people than she's ever going to be given credit for. So yeah, I mean, there wouldn't be a Marvel without her or Sinnott, and I never got to meet her, but I know that everybody who had has said what a great lady she was, and really nice and pleasant to talk with too. So that's maybe that's going to make me go out onto YouTube and see if there's any interviews out there with Marie Severin. That would be interesting.
Good idea.
There you go. And the Mindless Ones would make a good band. They're probably been done, but so hey, we hit the 2.5 hour mark again, Chris. I mean, I don't know how we do it. I'll try to talk faster with my introductions a little bit, when we get things started. But I really felt like I didn't have a lot to say this week, but it still took me almost an hour to get us going.
I'm going to put a post-it on my monitor right here that says, like, keep it short.
We can only try. But let's see. I just want to see here. Colin mentioned, let's see, Tim Sale based his Hulk Gray on incredible. Yeah, an edible ball. I can see that. I can definitely see that. But all right. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in as always, Chris, for your fantastic picks. I mean, I couldn't do these without you. You've made this show super enjoyable for me. And let's see. So I know that, we've got one more week, and then it's going to be Larry, right? I think is how we got it. Is that on my schedule here? I got that
Looking forward to Larry big time. That he has a wonderful eye. That guy is very savvy.
He is. So yeah, we'll have Larry on the 3rd. So you got one more week of picks, and then you'll have a week off. And again, if thanks everybody. Appreciate it as always. And tune into Nick's show tomorrow, 7 to 8 p.m. If you're looking to pick up some artwork. Nick is always he's always having a good time on that show, and he's always supporting the arts. Get him over 50, just like he helped us get over 50 tonight. So thanks for tuning in as always, and we'll see you again soon.